have that car tuned up, and Bubba's done a nice job as well. The 9 of Brad May follows the 28 of Jared Irvin, and then back up front, race time between a couple of team cars.
Yeah, Jet Nolan has now began to feel the pressure from Tate Fogelman and his teammate car just behind him as they stay single file as we close in on halfway, just one lap away from it. Tate Fogelman with a little bit of right front damage from working his way up through the field. Be interesting to see if he uses that right front fender to get the lead.
I think he'll be a little more patient with his own teammate, but if it was late in the race, maybe the case. He's got a much better car through the corners and off the turn right now. As you see the halfway signal, 50 laps in, 50 laps to go. And it's the team cars of Nolan and Fogelman, trouble for the first time in this race. Around goes the 98 of Greenfield coming off of turn number 4.
Really caught the back end of it there. Clay Greenfield ran at the big track yesterday, Daytona, in the truck race. And right now, almost kind of going the same way as it did yesterday, except he crashed out yesterday. Looks like Greenfield going to be able to continue so far in this one. He sits backwards, going to try to get turned around in the right direction as the field goes by.
So the 98 of Greenfield heading down pit road. A couple of other pit stops. Looks like Nicholas Noggle is pulled in the pits in the 08 car. Greenfield in the 98. Back out on the racetrack in that certified seed. 31W Insulation 98 car continues to roll as Blake Greenfield is caught up there. Saw some other cars involved. A little bit of damage to the left front nose piece of the 98. As we are under yellow. There's the Noggle 08 car. As Greenfield makes his way down pit road. Greenfield in the 98, trying to find his pit stall, I believe. Stops at the end of pit road, and there we go.
We got a guy coming in.
I don't think he knew where to stop. As we take a look at the replay, was up in the outside lane. Grinowitz in the 40 car was on the bottom. Ryan Moore was behind him. Greenfield looked okay at this point. Up, Spencer Davis.
It kind of looked like Greenfield just stopped there.
Yeah, he wasn't as quick in the outside lane as Spencer Davis was. Davis, the closing rate was quite high there. As you watch Davis go into the turn, the 98 really slowed up big time in turn 4. Nowhere to go for Spencer Davis.
I think he might have backed out as they were working around Grenowitz. Wasn't sure where that 40 machine was going to go high, low, trying to give some room, and Spencer just could not check up in time. He had Gabe Summers right there behind him. Summers really able to thread the needle along with Sam Mayer.
Spencer Davis actually is having his best run of the week. He has struggled mightily with the 29 car. It's not been as good as a couple of years ago.
Top shot
as the 29 car of Spencer Davis was off the pace tonight, running mid-pack. There's the 2 9s. The leaders, Jet Nolan and Tate Fogelman at the front of the pack. 21, a Logan Seavey right there. Logan Seavey running in the 6th position. And we'll throw it down to Jana Wimmer. Jana?
You guys have talked about all the success that Logan Seavey has had on dirt. His start here at New Smyrna Speedway on Monday, just his 3rd ever super late model start. I talked to him earlier and he said he likes asphalt racing. He's hoping to do more, but he said, man, it's just so different than dirt.
Definitely different. And he's been fast at times this week, just hasn't been able to finish with a strong finish. As Seavey has just one top 5 this week, a 5th place run. As we go green, coming back to Ralph Miller's green flag, and Nolan goes into the lead. Will Fogelman be able to hold on to second? All of a sudden, in the money spot, it's the 26 of Travis Braden. Great run off of turn number 2.
Yeah, Travis Braden really been laying low in that 3rd, 4th position, and might try to take a look to the outside for the lead. Can't do it. He's got Fogelman right to his inside. Going to clear him here into turn number 1. Leaves the lane to the inside as there's a melee of super late models behind him.
Seavey making a run to the top side of Griffith now as they go down into the corner. Griffith up the track a little bit. Seavey a good run coming off of turn 4. He said that he likes super late model racing, as Jana said, but it's so different. But he's really picked up on it pretty quickly. He's been competitive this week, just looking to put it all together. And right now in this 100-lapper, he's in the top 4.
Yeah, best run he's had consistently all of the World Series so far. And Derek Griffith, battling hard here for the 4th position. Griffith with a good run this time, but can't get the drive up off the corner. Seavey doing a good job rolling that high side and keeping his momentum up.
A little bit similar to running the top, running the cushion, getting all that momentum on the top side, where the guy on the bottom is just taking the shorter distance around. But Seavey using that outside lane very well right now as he looks to the high side. In front of him, Fogelman right there in the 11. Bubba Pollard kind of watches closely, doesn't want to take any big chances here, but we're going to be getting down to some final laps in this one. They're almost 60 laps in, coming up soon.
Yeah, coming up on 40 to go, and this is some close racing here. Griffith with a little bump to the 9 of Fogelman. He's going to dip now to the inside. That allows him to move around the 21 of Seavey. Seavey going to try to close the door on Bubba Pollard.
Seavey making the right move here, I think. Fogelman's on his way back now. A little bit of contact from Seavey. Look out. Pollard makes some contact. A little bit more beating and banging between Seavey and Fogelman going into the corner. Maybe a little more and a little more. Side by side, you don't see that so much in the open wheel cars on dirt that Seavey would be behind the wheel of.
Yeah, Fogelman used that right front fender up coming up through the field. I'm sure a lot of people that got that right front fender when he was passing him surely remember that. Bubba Pollard now going to look to the inside of Seavey after his battle with Fogelman. He'll move around this 21 machine, but Seavey still so good on that high side.
Less than 40 to go now as Pollard has picked up the 5th spot. Position number 5 for the 11 as we go back to the top. And Jet Nolan in the 9. 2nd and 3rd. Travis Braden, Derek Griffith fly by the line for that number 2 spot. Up and down race right now for the number 12 of Griffith. Looked good early, faded a little bit, and all of a sudden Griffith, driver from the Northeast, from New Hampshire in the 12, has taken the spot, celebrated his 22nd birthday this past weekend, and now he runs in the runner-up position.
Derek Griffith going to try to charge his way back to the lead after starting there, leading a handful of laps before being passed by Nolan. Fell just around the bottom side of the top 5, and now is back up to 2nd, but this white number 11 machine of Bubba Pollard seems to be slowly and methodically working his way. There you see Jet Nolan in the number 9 machine.
Nolan doesn't have a lot of late model experience. He did finish 20th in the Governor's Cup, finished 10th in the Southern Super Series race at Watermelon Capital Speedway. Just 15 years of age from Orlando, Florida is Jet Nolan. He's got great equipment for the Jet Concrete team. He's proving it tonight that he can wheel a race car. Saw a little bit of contact there between Pollard. He knows it's go time. And the 9 of Fogelman.
Yeah, about your normal distance race right here with 34 to go. These guys have seen 35-lap races all week long, and now Pollard punches the go button. He'll move inside Tate Fogelman. Fogelman going to relinquish that 4th position.
We'll start keeping our eyes on the gap at the top of the screen as Pollard right now is just under 2 seconds behind Jet Nolan. He'll try to close on that Platinum Express number 26 of Travis Braden. Braden, by far his best run of the week. He's had some decent laps in qualifying, decent laps in practice. Really hasn't had any good runs in feature competition this week. Hasn't finished in the top 5, but tonight he's up there trying to hang on to the number 4 spot with Pollard looking to the inside.
Yeah, I think with him running the ARCA Menards race at Daytona, kind of put him behind the 8 ball on this super late model. Didn't have a lot of time to get it. Now here at the end of the week, they've gotten it a lot closer, but still missed out on a lot of fine-tuning like this 11 team of Bubba Pollard. Pollard now into the 3rd spot.
Back in the field, 74, Ryan Moore. 9 of Derek Kraus, Ryan Moore. 10th, Derek Kraus. 11th, Colin Garrett has come from the back of the pack in the 24 car. Another good run for him tonight as he is in the 12th position.
Yeah, Kraus has also just been laying low in this race. Going to try to work around Brad May, but up. Here comes Tate Fogelman Fogelman all over the back bumper of Braden. Braden starting to slide back here. Under 30 laps to go, and he's going to leave the door open a little bit. Fogelman going to fill the gap.
Fogelman gets to the inside is for position number 4. Fogelman will take the spot away from Braden. Braden closes to the rear bumper. Turn 4 will drop in line. He will try to defend that number 5 spot now as Logan Seavey, the open wheel star, closes.
Battle for the lead coming up. There's the distance between your leaders. Derek Griffith has started to reel in Jet Nolan, and Nolan really took off on the start of this race. Griffith laid low.
I think Griffith had a better race car than he was showing early in this event. I think he was letting the race come to him a little bit as we watch Quapple in the 35, Seavey in the 21 car. Logan Seavey 6, Carson Quapple 7. A couple of young drivers, especially Carson Quapple, another one of those that haven't turned many laps in a late model. First and second on your screen, Jet Nolan and Derek Griffith.
Griffith looking strong here as we're about to hit 25 laps to go. The 3/4 mark here on the Orange Blossom 100. Also, just a note, the 20 of Anthony Sergi has just pulled down pit road, but the battle is on for the top spot.
Griffith, a couple of top 5 runs this week, 2 fourth-place finishes. He did have a second-place finish, Derek Griffith, at the Red Eye 100 here at New Smyrna in January. Makes some contact. Battle for the lead. Griffith to the inside on the front straightaway of Jet Nolan heading to 1.
We've seen this be a problem for Griffith, and he's just going to use up the 9 of Jet Nolan. Runs him all the way up to the 3rd lane, almost create a new lane for him.
Yeah, putting him up in groove number 3, but at that point he's going to get away, and Nolan's not going to be able to touch him unless we have a yellow flag, and then it could be up for grabs. Griffith knows he has to go and go in a hurry because the 11 of Bubba Pollard, he's 3rd in this race, and he's closing quickly.
I think Griffith learned from night 1. You don't want to spend a lot of time side by side with a competitor. You could make a mistake and get black flagged and take you out of the race, and I think that's why we saw him just move him up the racetrack, get him out of the way, and I'm going to be on my way. Or probably got some information that this driver is really closing in fast.
Pollard closing quickly. Cut her down by about a 10th on the last lap. Watch this car rotate the bottom of the racetrack as he comes up on the 9 of Nolan for second. They'll go around Greenfield, who finished 12th last night in the NASCAR truck race, but struggling a little bit in the 98 late model tonight. 2nd and 3rd on the screen, the 9 of Nolan. And the Pollard machine, the 11 right behind him as they come down the front straightaway down to the final 20 laps.
Pollard to the back bumper, rolling that inside lane. Nolan leaves a lane for him, but then chops him off out of turn number 2. That's not going to make Bubba Pollard too happy. I'm sure not going to be scared now to use that chrome horn on this 11 TM Ranch machine.
And he knows he's got to go. The lead has actually grown a little bit for Griffith. He's up 4/10 from what he was a few laps ago, and he gained some more time. So Pollard's got to go. Griffith has turned up the wick at the front of the field. Less than 20 laps left.
Pollard going to try the inside once again. Nolan leaves him a lane. Side by side off turn number 4. How much time do you waste trying to pass this number 9 machine? Jet Nolan on the high side. Bubba Pollard once again back to the inside. Going to get a good run here out of turn number 2.
Nolan ran up the track a little bit, came down the banking some. They rubbed a little paint coming off of turn number 2. Battle for second continues. Pollard struggling to get around Jet Nolan right now. That car just fast enough to hold him back, and Pollard, after closing to within about 0.8 of the leader, is now 1.8 seconds behind Derek Griffith.
Bubba Pollard still trying to work on Jet Nolan, and now his run has kind of stalled. Almost lost a half a car length or so on him as he rolls the inside. Bottom left of your screen is your leader, Derek Griffith. Pulls right to the back bumper, looking back up at the battle for second. Nolan doing a good job in front of Bubba Pollard.
Lower left, as you mentioned, Griffith. Now we see the full screen shot of 2nd and 3rd. The 9 of Nolan, the 11 of Pollard, nose to tail. Makes some contact. Nolan sideways up the track, and Pollard will move him out of the way.
I think that was, all right, kid. I'm done with you. Time to move on as Griffith has pulled out to over a 2-second lead. And unless Bubba Pollard really turns on the jets, I believe he's going to need a caution.
I think you're right. I think a yellow flag is what Pollard's going to need, but we'll be able to see the lead. 2.5 seconds for Griffith over Pollard. Griffith's lead continues to grow. We'll see what it does now that Pollard has clear track in front of him. There's Derek Griffith. What a run. Here tonight, the long-distance race is playing into his hands with the red eye. Second place finish. And then tonight, so strong in this Orange Blossom 100, looking for the big win at New Smyrna Speedway. Our first race of 5 events tonight, championship night number 9 of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. The 9 of Derek Kraus running in 10th. Colin Garrett running in 20, and the 24 car in the 11th position, but he's come from the back of the field. Garrett has impressed me, probably stepped up. I hadn't known much about Colin Garrett coming into the week, but he's been impressive. Not only the K&N race on Monday night, but super late model action each and every evening.
He's been really consistent working with Jamie Elton and the Fathead Racing crew. They've been to New Smyrna Speedway for the World Series before. Came last year with Joe Graff Jr., now Joe Graff, a full-time competitor in the ARCA Menards series. But back up front, Derek Griffith, and the lead has really opened up. Griffith has been about a tenth faster than Pollard here in the past few laps.
Yeah, he continues to pull away, so maybe the car better at this juncture than the 11 of Pollard. 9 laps to go. Griffith, Pollard, Nolan, Fogelman, Seavey, your top 5 on fanschoice.tv as we watch back now to Sam Mayer. We haven't seen him on the screen tonight very much. The 22 of Mayer running 13th. Hasn't had the World Series he had a year ago, to be quite honest. We thought he would be a little better. Of course, this is a different car that he started the week with. That car destroyed in an accident that wasn't of his doing. He just had nowhere to go. So he purchased a ride for the rest of the week from Dan Fredrickson, a good car that had finished in the top 3 the night before, and that's the car he's finishing the week out in.
Yeah, and qualifying the first day he had that car, ended up grabbing the fence pretty good out of turn 4, coming to the checkered in qualifying. So that didn't help the handling of this machine. A lot of work that Chris Wimmer has had to do in the pits. He's had really a full field of cars with the 22, the 21, and the 15 of Gabe Summers.
Derek Griffith, the leader, crosses the line. The last time by, the lead was over 3 seconds. He continues to pull away. The one thing he does not want to see happen is a yellow flag, because that would just throw things up for grabs. It has been a clean super late model race tonight. Down to the final 5 laps for Derek Griffith in the number 12, the 2018 past national champion. Definite star from the Northeast. And now battle for that 10th and final position in the top 10. Derek Kraus and Colin Garrett.
Colin Garrett seemed to be just a tick faster than Kraus, but here at New Smyrna Speedway, it is a tough place to pass, especially when you're on these old tires. You see both drivers really working the wheel on corner exit. Colin Garrett had a little contact left front. Somebody's had some close quarter racing, banging fenders here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Watching Garrett work off of turn number 2, following the number 9 of Derek Kraus. Up front, the leader, Griffith, going around Brad May. What a start to the week for Brad May in the 9. 3 back-to-back runner-up finishes, followed by a win, and then the bad luck set in. He lost the point lead, lost an engine, had to go to the backup car, and it just hasn't been the same tonight for the 2018 track champion at New Smyrna Speedway, Brad May. White flag will wave this time by. One more lap to go for the Hudson, New Hampshire driver.
This week started out great for Derek Griffith until the final lap. Got connected with Quapple. That pretty much sidelined him for the rest of the week and getting to victory lane. Looks like one more corner and he'll get there.
Off of turn number 4, the driver from Hudson, New Hampshire. Many wins in the Northeast. Tonight, he's one spot better than he was in the red eye. He wins the Orange Blossom 100. As we watch now, the 11 of Pollard cross the line in second. Jet Nolan takes third. Tate Fogelman crosses in fourth. Logan Seavey, a top 5 run. Braden takes 6th. Quapple 7th. Jared Irvin 8th. Ryan Moore 9th. And Derek Kraus finishes 10th. This car, I watched him in the early laps and he faded back through the field, and I said, didn't bring it tonight, just wasn't the car he needed, as he started with a decent field position. Obviously on the first position, started on the pole, did Griffith, but he was saving equipment, saving tires, and it paid off tonight. Griffith's car came around when everyone else has faded, and he ends up in victory lane on night number 9.
Bubba Pollard, though, going to win the war as Derek Griffith won the battle this evening. Bubba Pollard has been so strong in that 11 machine all of the World Series this year, but it's nice to see the 12G of Derek Griffith after making the long trek from the Northeast down here. And on the final night, going to stand in victory lane.
And we will send it down to our reporter, Jana Wimmer.
Derek Griffin out of the car, waves the checkered flag. And Derek Griffith all smiles down here in victory lane. How good does this one feel?
Oh man, this place has just killed us. And, to come home and win this, I think we really won that race too. We didn't really get lucky. I played the strategy right. Everyone was on the radio saying, calm down, let them drive it out. And man, this thing was just fast tonight. I really got to thank my guys. I got to thank Fury Race Cars, LCM Racing, my dad, Dolly, my girlfriend, Jeremy, Donnie. Man, there's so many people I could thank. I've been coming down here for 6 years, and it's every year we just have awful luck. We had a real strong run early week, and we've been struggling with some tires and stuff, and to win the 100-lapper, oh, thank God, thank you.
Yeah, you got tangled for the win on night one. How good does this feel now to end Speed Weeks here in Victory Lane?
Oh, it feels awesome, and, our car felt this good. Excuse me, I've been sick all week. It's been great all week. We've just been struggling with some tire stuff. I know it's driven incredible just about every night, before qualifying, and, 2 nights ago we kind of fell back, and the night before we were qualified 12th and finished 5th, so in a green to checkered 35 lapper. So we knew this thing was fast all week. We just needed some luck, and finally came our way. The invert was perfect. I guess I had to let those guys go, and man, here we are.
Derek Griffith picks up the win in the final super late model race at Speed Weeks.
Good way to finish his week. His birthday was last Saturday, celebrating birthday number 22. Despite a little bit of an illness this week, he ends up with a victory tonight, and that's a pretty good prescription to feel better.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at your unofficial top 15. Griffith with the win, Bubba Pollard second, Jet Nolan third, Tate Fogelman fourth, Logan Seavey rounds out your top 5.
Travis Braden finishes 6th, Quapple 7th, Jared Irvin, decent run in the 28 car 8th, Ryan Moore 9th, and Derek Kraus takes the 10th spot.
Right now, let's go back down to Jenna Wimmer standing by with your champion.
First of all, let's talk about this race before we talk about the championship. You just run out of time?
Yeah, just when you race around idiots, you got to be patient. And that's all there is to it. And all the haters out there, yeah, I'm crying because I lost because I had a good car. It's part of it, We had a car capable of winning tonight, and it's tough to start that far back and only have one caution throughout the field. But yeah, it's just we had a good week. Congratulations to Derek. He's a good guy, and I'm proud he won. They're good people. So just all in all, a good week. Championship's good. Come out here, I would like to win. I feel like we had a car capable of doing it. We just need some breaks there, a couple cautions, and I think we'd have had something for him.
On the plus side, you do have this really nice looking trophy over here. Your first Speed Weeks, you bring home the championship. How special is that?
It is, especially for these guys. We wish David get well and hopefully comes back soon, and hopefully gets to drive this thing again here soon. And I think we got it tuned up right. We've had a couple of days to work on it, so I think it's feeling good. But yeah, it feels good to win for those guys, Steve and TM Ranch and John, PH, Dana, all these guys that work hard each and every week on this thing. They've been a group that stayed together for almost 30 years, and sponsors, man, you don't see that in racing very often, and just honored to be a part of it, and hopefully we can do it again.
Bubba Pollard, your 2019 Speed Weeks champion.
Pollard becomes the 18th different super late model champion in the last 18 years at the World Series. He was frustrated. He said, "Oh, you haters out there, yes, I'm crying because I didn't win." He wanted to win this race tonight. He wanted to finish the week on a very strong note, and it was a strong note, but not a very strong note, as our third place finisher is Jet Nolan. Jana Wimmer?
Yeah, Jet, you were up towards the front all day. How does it feel to come home in third?
It feels great. Jet Motorsports worked very hard all week. We had a really good week. Would have liked to finish the other 2 races that we didn't get to finish, but it's a learning experience. This is my first Speed Week.
What can you take away from this experience?
Just learning. You got to learn a lot.
What's it like racing with these guys out here? I mean, it was dicey at the front a couple times there.
Yeah, they have a ton more experience than I do. I've only had 2 years. They probably have more, 10 plus.
Jet Nolan looking to make a name for himself in super late models, guys.
Jet Nolan, third place finish in the number 9 tonight. Good super late model race. The Orange Blossom 100 was up for grabs, and honestly, the 12 kind of came out of nowhere second half of the race. Didn't look like that was going to be the case. It looked like the Jet Concrete number 9s were going to take first and second tonight, but they faded just enough at the end for the 12 of Griffith and the 11 of Pollard. Clean race, one yellow flag during the course of the event.
Yeah, it was clean. Saw our good fair share of side-by-side action. Great racing, a lot of contact, a lot of hard-nosed racing, but at the end of the night, only one caution. I mean, for the most part, I don't want to jinx anything, but we've had some great clean racing all year here at the 2019 World Series.
American Auto Sportsman 35 lappers next to go. We have 3 other features after that as well. So the racing has just begun from New Smyrna Speedway's night number 9 of the World Series.
They like to not share sometimes, but that's all right. We're going to put on a good show. We have cars like George Gora, Matthew Green, Stephen Massey in the 44 tonight. So we're going to see what's going to happen in this one. We'll go back up here to see your starting lineup. One of the drops here at New Smyrna. tonight. We try to go for 2 championships this year. So we wish him luck over there, but we do know for sure. So that's Jeff Coburn and Conrad Reed starting third. We have Scott Reeves in the 21 starting in fourth. The mad scientist, Steve Barnes, can start fifth in car 58. The Hawker, Preston Hunt, going to start in fifth in that beautiful Ford Tech window rope number 6 car. Then there will be Stephen Nassy in the neon yellow 44 down there. Cool to see Stephen Nassy on board one of these American Auto Sportsmen. Had a good run yesterday in second. I believe, if my notes are correct, he can drive the modified race as well. Stephen Nassy, our defending super late model champion, will be learning a couple of different things here tonight. Starting in 8 will be those 3 of George Gorham. Last night's winner, that orange machine down there. You definitely can't miss that car on the speedway. Cole Littlewood was scheduled to start in 9th. He's going to be scrapped on the field today. So Luke Matthew Green up a spot. The other number 44, Matthew Green, was the one involved with Casper Thomas on the front straightaway late in the race. And they were none too happy with what happened there. Russ Moore going to start 11th in the 39, followed by Jerry Artuso. Tim Stozio in the red and black number 16 going to make a start here tonight. That car is usually pretty strong out here. And then the 53 for George Alexander. You can add Mike Don in the 33 and George Don to the field as well. So a pretty decent field despite a couple of cars having issues last night and a couple of them taking off to go to the wheelman race. So we're still going to have a good show here tonight. Some competitive race cars getting ready to go. Wrapping up now the Victory Lane celebrations for Bubba Pollard, our super late model champion for the World Series. He got his first World Series win taken care of this year and his first World Series championship. So Bubba wasn't even planning to come down here, and then got the call from the David Rogers guys that he couldn't pass it up. And now, look at that, he's the champion. Second consecutive championship. Now the American Auto Sportsman will begin to roll behind the Notre Dame American Auto pace car down there. 35 laps of this for these guys. They ran about 30 of them clean and green yesterday, and then had a couple of big cautions late in the going.
Event number 2 of night number 9, the final night of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. The Sportsmen, the American Auto Sportsmen, pull on to the racetrack. 35 lappers set to go here in just a couple of laps. They have run 2 events this week, last Friday, then last night, and tonight. A 3-event week for the Sportsman division. Time now to take a look at our starting lineup.
Joe Hamilton will roll off on the top spot with James Adams in second. Then it is Jeff Colburn in third. Fourth will be Scott Reeves.
Steve Barnes in the 58 will start in the 5th position. Preston Hunt in the 6th starts 6th. Stephen Nassy, second place run last night in the bright yellow 44, starts 7th. And a dominant performance last night for the orange 03 of George Gorham Jr. He starts 8th.
Cole Littlewood will be starting in 9th. Matt Green in 10th. Got to watch out for the Green and the Patrick Thomas drama. And then following him will be Russ Moore in 11th. 12th is Jerry Artuso.
After Artuso is George Dahm and Mike Dahm rounding out our field as we let the cars roll around a few times, and some of the drama won't take place tonight. Fortunately for Matthew Green possibly and Patrick Thomas last night, they got together coming to the checkered flag, and then Patrick Thomas not in attendance tonight in the 111 car.
Yeah, I saw the 3 of Colburn. Looks a lot like.
Oh, yeah, it's a former Patrick Thomas driven
that
car.
car, yeah. So, unfortunately for us spectators, not going to see any drama between those two, but Matthew Green will be looking to have a better night than he did last night as the lights are out on the base car. We're going to go 35 laps for these sportsman cars as we close out the 9 nights, the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, with race number 2 of the evening.
Working into turn 3, heading over to turn 4. Hamilton and Adams bring the field to green. 35 laps tonight for the sportsmen. Already changing lanes. You see the veteran driver Reeves go to the bottom of the track for the second spot. Cars sliding up the banking. Artuso puts it on the 4th lane, and he comes off of turn number 2, still in the right direction.
Artuso trying to clean off the cushion up top like we saw that ground pounder do last night, that ASA car, as they roll off turn 4. A little contact to the outside wall for James Adams in that 29 machine.
Side by side for the 2nd position on back, and there's the 03 making big moves through the field right now. Gorham was very fast last night, and guess what? It's still fast tonight. Has moved up to 2nd from his 8th starting position. Going for the lead on the front straightaway. Gorham drops back into line.
Wasting no time is this 03 machine as we look at the battle for the 5th position. Preston Hunt in the 6th, but back up front, the 03 of George Gorham going for the lead.
Down into the corner we go. The 03 of Gorham takes the number 1 spot, dropping back to 2nd, the 10. As we watch back further in the field now, 5th place battle. It's the 44 of Nassy getting to the inside. Nassy finished in the 2nd spot last night. Needed just a little bit more speed to be able to compete with the 03 of Gorham. We'll see if he can find it. He's got to hurry because that Gorham 03 is going to pull away fast.
And the highlighter 44, though, of Stephen Nassy working up through the field side by side just in front of him for the 3rd position. Joe Hamilton, no relation to Lewis, in 2nd.
You do your homework.
Yeah.
44 of Nassy able to clear the 29 of James Adams as they come down the front straightaway. Now we're nose to tail single file. The 6 of Preston Hunt looking to the low side. Hamilton on the outside lane, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Hamilton still hanging on to 3rd, all wrapping that inside lane. There you see the lead for George Gorham in the 03, and now thought we had a run for Preston Hunt in that 6 machine. He will. He's going to take advantage of it. Moves underneath the 10. Good run out of turn number 2 for the 6 machine of Preston Hunt.
And Preston Hunt looking pretty sporty tonight in the number 6. A driver from Florida finished 11th back in the January 5th event during the Red Eye 100 night. He's won features in Sportsman and Superstock at the track here last year, and he's got that 6 tuned up tonight in the 2nd position. Nassy has moved up to 3rd.
Nassy going to try to follow the 6 of Hunt, try to reel in the 03 of Gorham. Last time they crossed the line, and we have more contact. Look at this.
Green in the 44 got walled last night, and he's got big issues right now. Yellow flag coming out right now as the field slows on the back straightaway. Green in the 44. There's a lot of contact. Here's our 63 car.
Beautiful looking race car.
Rolling away from the scene. That's George Alexander. end up having 15 starters in our field tonight as Alexander starts to pull away. A little bit different than we saw it last week. They've covered up the right rear wheel using all of that extra aerodynamics.
It's more side force. Side force on the keeps all the air rolling down the side. Might keep the heat in, though, on that right rear tire. That could be a little bit of a disadvantage.
Or if you cut one down and you got to change it.
Could take you 45 minutes. Might as well get a four-way out.
Well, you better hope that they are controlled pit stops. Lose any time on pit road as the 63 of Alexander rolls away. Again, one of our sportsman contenders tonight. 8 laps complete of the 35. And now we'll see if Nassi, we'll see if Hunt have anything for Gorham. Gorham about ready to put the bumper on the pace car.
He's ready to go. Trying to pick up where he left off last night.
It's been the only car that's been able to keep him behind so far as Gorham has been flying through the field these last 2 nights. He's been so strong in the 03 car.
He had to start all the way in the back last night. He didn't make it out for night 1 for the sportsman, started in the back, and it wasn't long before he got to the front.
No, he wasted no time. And drivers behind him, the 6 of Hunt, started 6th. He's moved to 2nd. Nassi started 7th and moved to 3rd. So they've all picked up a lot of spots here early. They just didn't do it as quickly as what George Gorham did.
The last lap before we saw the caution, lap 8, Preston Hunt actually ran the fastest lap, his fastest lap, and it was almost over a 10th better than George Gorham, but the fastest driver on the racetrack, well, I was reading that wrong. It was Preston Hunt. I saw a 21.2, and I thought that was better, but it's a 20.2 for the 6 of Preston Hunt. Hunt definitely going to be a solid competitor here for the 03. He's doing a mighty fine job tonight.
As well as Nassi in the 44. Nassi had a good car last night. Ended up getting 2nd with the contact right in front of him happening off of turn 4. It happened between Thomas and Green. Green in the 44 has stayed out there in the 6th position. We'll see if the sparks fly. He made a lot of contact with the 29 of James Adams before the yellow. They are rolling again back under Green as they go into turn 1. 44 of Green doesn't seem to be sparking. He must have had some. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep. I'm surprised he didn't come to pit road, have the crew guys look at that. They must have assessed the damage from the spotter's tower. Hopefully that doesn't come around to bite him. Maybe just a piece of metal that's dragging after making contact, or at least getting helped to make contact with the outside wall.
Doesn't seem to be all that severe, and the car seems to be running just as well. It's something from the right front. So possibly, as you mentioned, something dragging from the contact that was made. As there you see 2nd and 3rd, Hunt in the 6, Nassi in the 44. They follow the leader. Saw him just briefly there. Gorham in the 03.
The 6 of Preston Hunt's machine looks real good around the racetrack, sealed off along with this 44 of Stephen Nassi. Hard to miss this car. Sometimes, especially in the daytime, might need to put your sunglasses on.
Yeah, Nassi's 44 car is bright, and we talked about him making something like the last 10 World Series he's been a part of. Didn't look like he was going to be this week as he couldn't get the super late model deal put together in time to run this week. And instead, he comes down the last couple of nights to run a sportsman and was pretty competitive last night and running decent again tonight. There's Scotty Reeves in the 21 following the 63 of Alexander.
Also the 58 of Steve Barnes. Steve Barnes 4th in points, but about 40 points back or so. No, actually 60 points back of the lead of Patrick Thomas, but Thomas not here tonight. And these races do count for track points.
Which is what we're talking about, right. And that includes the January 5th event, which took place for the Red Eye 100. The sportsmen were part of that event. You see the 10 car of Joe Hamilton, 58 of Steve Barnes, George Alexander in the 63, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Steve Barnes doing a good job holding on to that 8th position. Hamilton has really started to fall back after starting up front in this race, and now going to have some company from the 58 of Barnes, and Barnes may peek to the inside, not this time. Sideways is the 58 of Barnes.
Closing on the halfway mark of the race, going to be 15 laps in this time. 20 laps to go as Hamilton goes around the 33 of Mike Dahm down in turn number 4. And the 10. Hamilton still holds on to the 7 spot. Good-looking race car. Back to the leader. The 03 of George Gorham, 16 laps complete. Coming up next will be the Pro Trucks. They originally were scheduled to run their 50-lapper at the end of the night. Put on a good show last night, did the Pro Trucks. They're going to be coming up next after our brief intermission, followed by the Florida Modifieds and the Super Stock. So a little change in our schedule of events tonight for our final night of the World Series. Halfway, 17 down, 18 to go, as the 03 of Gorham leads the way.
Work around the lap truck, the 39 of Russ Moore. Gets around him with no problem. And the 03 of Gorham has been lightning fast since he's been here at New Smyrna Speedway. Nobody's really had anything for him. I thought Preston Hunt would have had something. Right now starting to fall off along with Nasty. Nasty about the second fastest driver on the racetrack to Gorham.
Nasty, the 44 car, running all by himself in third, working around slower traffic. You watch now as the 6 of Preston Hunt crosses the line at lap number 19. Second place car there. The Sportsman cars, pretty popular division here in the state of Florida. We see them run during Snowball Derby week at Five Flag Speedway. We see them here at the World Series, and they usually put together pretty good fields of cars.
Yeah, really good fields of cars. As see Ralph Miller showing the black flag. I believe that's to
the 33 of Mike Dahm. Yes. Watching them cross the line here on our front straightaway as the 10 has some challengers again for the 7th position, as it's Hamilton, Barnes, and Alexander nose to tail. 7th, 8th, and 9th, they work around the 39 of Russ Moore.
Thought Barnes was going to have a run there out of 2, had to pull back in line as they were rolling up on the 39 of Russ Moore. Now passing the 33 of Mike Dahm. I think Dahm going to use all 3 of his laps that you can for that black flag before he pulls in.
Yeah, probably hoping for a yellow so they can go make some adjustments in the pits. As the 10 of Hamilton leads the 58 of Barnes. Gorham still out front by a second and a half, as now Barnes makes a run to the inside of Hamilton. He pushed up off of 2, and the 7th position up for grabs with 12 to go.
Barnes really good on the exit of 2. It's where he makes up a lot of ground. Now going to make it stick through 3 and 4. And also the beautiful looking 63 machine of George Alexander going to go side by side as well, and trying to crack his way into the top 10. Actually, he is in the top 10 and 8th, even after having some of that misfortune early in the race.
Saw the 29 slowing and pulling off as these cars went past him about a lap ago. That was James Adams, who was starting at the front of the field. The 03 of Gorham, your leader, crossing the line. 10 more laps to go.
Jerry Artuso's also worked back into the top 5 after really washing up the racetrack on the initial start. He's picked his way up into 5th and just ran his fastest lap of the race. Matthew Green in 4th. Preston Hunt has started to pick up the pace. The lead difference was 1.6, now down to 1.2. That time at the line, well, went back up to 1.3.
Hunt right there, good-looking number 6 car, Gorham's car. Oh, we've got fire underneath Gorham's car right now. If you look up underneath the left front fender, you could see some fire underneath there. Couldn't see it when he went into 3. It was going down the backstretch where we could see it. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Could have just been some rubber or something catching fire underneath. Might not be anything too serious, but the 03 car, we could see it right there. You can see it again. So something right behind the left front tire, and you can only see it on the back straightaway when the camera angle is just right. But Gorham trying to get to the end of this one with some flames underneath the hood. 7 to go.
Yeah, I don't know what it could be. Could be as simple as a piece of rubber, but could be possibly some brake fluid or something that had caught on fire. Nevertheless, hasn't really slowed him down too much as he's still pulling away from Preston Hunt in the second position. Stephen Nasty has slid back 3.6 behind your leader.
We're going back to the top angles. We watch it come off the corner, see if we can see anything up underneath. Don't seem to notice it now.
He's really slowed down, though. I think he lost about 6/10 that lap. So problems, this could be something developing for the 03.
He's going to work past some slower traffic. Reeves moves out of the way. Right in front of Reeves is the 10 of Hamilton. Hamilton running in the 9th position, down to the final 8 drivers on the lead lap, and down to the final 5, now less than that, laps left in the race. 4 to go for Gorham.
As they work around lap traffic, your leader Gorham with 4 laps to go. He's picked the pace back up and has a 1.3 second advantage as well, and looks like that fire has possibly gone out. Maybe just a piece of rubber or something. He did slow there for he lost 0.6 in 1 lap. So we thought possibly something had arose, and there you see the 6 of Preston Hunt working around lap traffic.
Hunt and Nassy, the 6 and the 44, they're 2nd and 3rd in this race. Nassy will work around the 10 of Hamilton. Mentioned again, 8 cars now left on the lead lap in a clean sportsman race tonight. Down to the final, less than 3 laps to go. There's the leader, Gorham. Makes his way through turns 1 and 2. Jeff Christensen bringing us great shots tonight from high atop turns 1 and 2 as we watch the 03 of Gorham go into turns 3 and 4. White flag waving. 1 lap to go for the 03 of George Gorham.
Gorham's been solid, trying to make it 2 out of the last 3. Showed up last night, was the fastest thing in town, coming back to New Smyrna Speedway. And the story is the same. George Gorham will drive off turn number 4 to close out the Sportsman here at the World Series with a victory.
Hunt closes the gap again and takes 2nd. Nassy takes the 3rd spot. Matthew Green, good run from deep in the pack tonight, will finish 4th. Jerry Artuso finishes in the 5th spot. Tim Sozio takes 6th. Steve Barnes takes 7th. And it's George Alexander in the 8th spot. Scott Reeves in 9th, and Joe Hamilton finishes 10th. Scary moment, about 10 laps to go for this 03 of George Gorham. Had a little bit of fire under the left front. Possibly, as we mentioned, just a piece of rubber or something catching fire, but seemed to have put itself out. The 6 a couple of times looked like he was closing and ended up just finishing behind the 03 of Gorham by just about 1 second. Hunt takes 2nd, another podium finish, a 2nd and a 3rd this weekend for Stephen Nassy in the 44. As we complete this 35-lap sportsman race, and the Pro Trucks getting ready to come up here in moments. We're going to send it down to Victory Lane and Jana Wimmer.
Yeah, George Gorman down here about to climb out of this number 03 car. He's getting high fives, maybe a water down here. Oh, no, not for me. He needs that more than I do. Quick sip of water, and then George Gorham going to climb out of his car here in Victory Lane on the final night of Speed Weeks. George, man, you got out front and just never looked back.
Man, I couldn't ask for a better race car. This thing has been on the rail the last 4 races we raced this thing, and it's unbelievable to have a good race car. It makes me look like a hero when a car is that good, and I just can't thank AJ Parker and Cindy Parker enough. Parker Line Striping, AMF Chassis, and everybody seems to forget Speed 51. They're all over the world doing this stuff for us, and we got to thank them as well.
Thanks for the shout out. Also, 2 in a row. I mean, how special is it to end Speed Weeks on that kind of note?
It's awesome. I mean, this is actually the 4th win of our season with this car already. 2019 is looking really good to us. I can't wait to get back in my new Supra. I got a brand new Spinnaker car getting built, and it's finished up with Mike Garvey and Terry and them, and I'm looking forward to driving that thing. As right now, this is occupying my time, and like I said, if it wasn't for AJ and Cindy, I couldn't do this.
George Gorham here in Victory Lane, guys.
George Gorham, 2 for 2 this weekend. Didn't race with us last weekend. He is able to beat Preston Hunt. Stephen Nassy finishes 3rd with that Hunt car right in between. Those 3 were the class of the field tonight. Matthew Green did do a pretty nice job moving through the field and finishing 4th, and Artuso, the veteran, takes 5th.
6th will be Tim Sozio. Then it'll be Steve Barnes in 2nd, George Alexander in 8th. 9th is Scott Reeves. 10th is Joe Hamilton.
Finishing in the 11th spot, Jeff Colburn, Russ Moore, Mike Dahm, James Adams, and George Dahm taking the final 5 spots in our top 15. 2nd place finisher was Preston Hunt. Jana?
Obviously a strong 2nd place run. What was that little bit more you needed to catch, George?
The car was just a little tight getting in and coming off, really everywhere. I mean, just need to be a little bit looser, and hopefully I can get them next time.
A strong end here at Speed Weeks, though. How good does that feel?
Feels great. I'm just happy to get in top 3.
Podium finish here for Preston Hunt, guys.
Preston Hunt, good run and a sharp-looking number 6. Third place finisher was Stephen Nassy. Ran a couple of races this week as Stephen in the number 6 car, or number 44 car, takes the third spot here tonight at New Smyrna Speedway as Jana Wimmer stands by with Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen Nassy, not used to seeing you in these cars. What have these last couple nights been like?
Just been a lot of fun. We, wanted to do something a little bit different this weekend. Didn't really get a chance to bring the late model out, so figured why not give it a shot and something else. Try to get a win. We come close last night. Worked on the car, tried to get a little bit better, but obviously never sitting in this car before. It really makes it for a long weekend. We got another chance tonight. In the modified, I unfortunately started I think like last in that race, and I've never been in that car either. So it should be an eventful night. It's been a really good weekend. I gotta thank Sean for calling me up. Letting me drive his car. A little light on the family this weekend. I know my nephews and nieces, Case and Paxton and Mabry, are watching. I miss them a lot. And mom, dad, my sisters. So, I'll be back home in a couple days. And it's been a good speed week so far. Wish could have been here a little bit longer, but, glad I'm here at all.
And the most important question, did you pick out this paint scheme? Because I think I could see your car if I was still in Wisconsin.
No, this ain't me. This is what they normally run on it. But, I kind of like it. Maybe we'll turn the 51 all yellow.
Maybe you'll see a yellow 51 Super Late model, guys.
Stephen Nassy, podium run tonight. The driver of the 44, normally used to seeing him in a 51 ride. We've got 3 features yet to go. Pro Truck, 50-lapper coming up. Florida Modifieds yet to determine a champion. And Super Stocks running their final and one and only race of Speed Weeks in the World Series coming your way as well. 3 races to go. Stay with us on fanschoice.tv.
Number 9, and they had a pretty good run today in the 100 lapper. So what do you think the chances are? Yeah, Jet Concrete team's always strong. They had a good show today in the late model. Hopefully I can just finish out strong and pull something out of the modified. And who would you like to take on this side of things for helping get up here to third place? Sean Cater for calling me up, giving me the opportunity to drive it. Robbie Yoko, he usually drives it. So, giving me the opportunity to do it this week, he hurt himself. So really those 2 guys and everybody who's putting hands on the car this weekend is filling it up. I think you're all day, man. The Jet Concrete team is a big team, and we've all been kind of working together the last couple of days. So I'm really thankful and fortunate for the opportunity, and it's been a lot of fun. Stephen, congratulations on third place. Good luck in the modified race. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Stephen Nassy, your third place finisher. And let's get Gorham here one more time, dominating the weekend. All right, we're going to head out top side and get ready to go Pro Truck racing. So a couple minutes left here in the intermission portion. So if you haven't already, head on down to the concession stand or check out the souvenir stand, and then we'll get ready for the second half of the night. After the Pro Truck, we'll have the Florida Modified out to wrap up their portion of the World Series. We'll crown the champion there, Gary Simon. Has moved into the point lead, looking to take home his second consecutive championship in that division. And then closing out the evening will be a 50-lapper for the always exciting Super Stocks. One of the craziest divisions that we have. Not afraid of trade paint in that one. You never know what's going to happen there. folks, we're getting ready to fire up the tow truck to go 50 laps for the second consecutive night. And what a lot of racing for these pro trucks. Also want to remind you all to make sure you get your 50-50 raffle tickets. If you were not with us earlier, we have at least 2 raffles tonight. We have $351 to raffle off from last night. I pulled 4 tickets and nobody won. So we're going to raffle that off again tonight. So we have at least $351 on top of whatever we get tonight. So the only way that you can get in on last night's raffle, the leftover, is to buy a ticket for tonight. And when you buy a ticket for tonight, that increases the pot for tonight. So at least $351. I'm told it's over that already tonight. So if you buy it, if they're still selling, they might be counting now. But if you see a 50-50 raffle, bro, make sure you get those tickets. Because you have 2 chances to win over $350. And maybe if I'm feeling generous, I might raffle off a little something else. So make sure you don't leave tonight before we do the 50-50. We have a lot of stuff to give away. And I'll sit here all night till I give away this money. Because I'm not holding it so much. I'll give it the heart-to-heart on it if we have to. Make sure you stick around if you buy tickets. I promise. You will raffle that off. Don't leave early if you buy tickets. It's Saturday night. I know everybody's decided to go watch Football 500 tomorrow. But don't leave early. So here we go. The first truck starting to roll off onto the speedway.
Ninth and final night of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing from New Smyrna Speedway in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing has been a great week so far, and we're winding it down to the final 3 features. The Pro Truck 50 Lapper is on track right now, and they put on a good show last night, sliding these Pro Trucks all around the racetrack. Cody Haskins, he was the man to beat. Came from pretty deep in the pack, worked his way to the front, and picked up the victory. But it was their first race of the week, and now they race their second, and that's the Haskins 38 right there on the left of our screen. He'll be the one to watch, set fast time, and qualifying earlier. He'll be able to race to the front again tonight. I think he would be the favorite to do so, but who else will step up after having one night in the books and getting a chance to fine-tune these vehicles?
I think Donnie Burkhalter in that 24 truck going to be tough as well. He was very fast in qualifying on night 1 for the Pro Trucks. Broke before they even took the green flag. And again has another fast machine.
Taking a look now at the starting lineup, Becca Monopoly, top 3 run last night in the 59. She'll be on the pole to start the race tonight. Jeffrey White in the 41 will start second. Derek Pugh in the 3 had a pretty good run going last night, starts third. And Jason Lester, good run for him in the 7 last night as well, starts 4th.
Rich Clouser in 5th will roll off in that 8 machine. Mickey Thomas in 6th. 7th is Donnie Burkhalter. 8th is Cody Haskins,
Just outside the top 8, missing the invert, Jimmy Jackson in the 46 truck. Michael Whipple in the 54W starts 10th. Starting 11th, Brennan Holmes in the 57. And Mike Kohut in the 11 starts 12th.
13th is Colt Hensley. 14th will be Michael Foy. Then it is Darrell Rudd in the 56 machine, and 15th, 16th is Nick Hagg.
Todd Hagg starts in the 54 in the 17th position. Colt Cecil starts 18th in the 19. Shea Montgomery in the number 1 starts 19th, and starting 20th, the 1 of Lucas Leone.
Jamie Sullivan will be 21st. Todd Anglani will be 22nd. Rounding out the field is Annabelle Moish.
That's your field of Pro Trucks, some 23 strong, scheduled to go tonight. Saw Clouser in the number 8. He was pretty good for a while last night. There's some talented drivers in this Pro Truck field, and the Pro Truck division pretty popular in the state of Florida, much like the Sportsman. You don't see them all across the country, but they do definitely have some pretty strong fields at times down here in Florida.
Becca Monopoly going to be looking for another solid run. Had a beautiful third-place run last night, and now starting on the top spot for this evening.
Caution lights are turned off. Field ready for green. Becca Monopoly in the number 59, a talented truck driver with numerous wins and championships in the pro trucks. Jeffrey White in the 41, getting ready for the opening start of this 50-lap feature event. Turn number 4, we will go green. Set to go, underway from New Smyrna Speedway. Monopoly and Jeffrey White bring him across the line. We're underway.
Monopoly with a good start. Going to pull away with the top spot, but on the outside, Jeffrey White going to try to roll the high side. Here comes the 3 of Derek Pugh. He was very strong early about the 8 machine. A Klauser, good save. Going to go on the apron, but lose a lot of track position.
Bad break for the veteran Rich Klauser, champion, has won World Series championships. Many wins to his credit over the years in his career. Also, we'll get to see his daughter racing later tonight in the Super Stocks. 41 on the outside lane, Jeffrey White. The 3 of Derek Pugh on the inside lane has moved up to second. And here comes the 7 of Lester to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, that 7 of Jason Lester with a solid run last night, trying to back that up here on the final night of action at the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. The driver just behind him, though, in the 38, going to be one to keep our eyes on. Cody Haskins, very dominant yesterday, and we even saw it roll over into qualifying this evening.
See the battle for third on back, also tightening up at the front for the lead. The 7 of Lester on the inside of the 41. Haskins in the 38, moving from his 8th starting position. 3 wide, look out in the corner. White way up the track, going to get tight. Nice job by all the drivers to keep it relatively clean.
See Lester saw on the wheel on the high side as Haskins powers his way. Lester going to try to crossover move, gets to the back bumper, nothing happening. Haskins now going to begin to roll away down the backstretch. Just behind him, the 24 of Burkhalter making his way to the front.
Burkhalter in the 24 was second quick in qualifying, not quite making moves as quickly as what we've seen the fast qualifier Haskins do. As here's the 3 of Derek Pugh closing to the rear of the 59 of Becca Monopoly. 5 laps down, 45 laps to go, as the 59 of Monopoly still leads the way. Klauser in the 8 car, making a run to the inside.
Great battling on the racetrack. Klauser trying to gain back some track position after that good save. It was a close call in 3 and 4, but hung on to it nicely and starting to rally back. Burkhalter trying to work up underneath the 41 of White, trying to break into the top 5, side by side at the stripe. White going to be on the outside, Burkhalter on the outside, or inside.
Burkhalter running the bottom of the racetrack, started this event in the 7th spot. Side by side, taking it off into the 3rd corner. Burkhalter in the 24, makes the pass, makes it stick. We got a battle for the lead. Here comes Pugh to the inside of Monopoly. Pugh on the inside, Monopoly on the outside. Those two have pulled away from the rest of the field.
Monopoly running hard on the outside. Pugh trying to get it underneath and through to the top spot as Pugh going to try to clear. Pugh, that was close.
You can't use what I was going to use. That's stealing right now.
I beat you to it.
Pugh out front. 2nd spot, the 59 of Monopoly. Just about the 1/5 mark of the race. We'll go 10 laps complete this time. Pugh and Monopoly 1st and 2nd.
There you see Cody Haskins in 3rd, trying to reel in this top 2 combo side by side, just outside the top 5. Jeffrey White has begun to fall through the field, now falling victim to Mickey Thomas. Rich Klauser has reeled them in as well, and White sideways, but still able to make ground on the high side.
See the 44 going to the inside lane of White, working through turns 3 and 4. Making the way down the front straightaway. As the 44 truck is running right now in the 7th position, Mickey Thomas following Jeffrey White. looking back toward the front again. The 7 of Lester right now running in the 4th position. That's Jason Lester. And now Haskins continues his trek forward, much like last night, only I think he did a little bit quicker last night. Haskins wasted no time getting to the front one night ago. Field has stepped it up a little bit tonight. Haskins has caught Monopoly for the runner-up spot.
Still not close to halfway just yet. 13 down as they hit the stripe that time. Monopoly doing a good job rolling the inside, but good run out of the corners for that 38 of Haskins. And heard Lester talk last night in Victory Lane that an awfully strong motor he felt like in that 38 truck. And Haskins putting it to work tonight, now all over the back end of Becca Monopoly.
Haskins, 2012 World Series Pro Truck champion here at New Smyrna Speedway, is now moving up into the 2nd spot. Monopoly drops back to 3rd. Now we'll take a look where the leader is. Pugh way out front by over half a straightaway the advantage, working around the 05 lap truck of Jamie Sullivan.
Sideways is Pugh down the back straightaway. So last night he really fought the handling of that truck, was really sideways toward the later part of the 50-lap feature and ended up pulling off because he was so sideways, I believe. I don't think he had any other issue. He might have, but just like that truck became uncontrollable.
And we see that a lot with these trucks as the race goes along. You'll see them start to get freer and freer for the most part, and they'll start sliding around like they're on a slick track down at the go-kart center as we watch the 59 of Monopoly running in the 3rd position, where she ended up finishing last night. Last night was a little different. She didn't start up front. She was able to pick up a few spots to get her into the top 3. And tonight it's a little different. She started on the pole. A couple of really fast trucks have worked by her, but her truck really seems to be into the track and stable, and that should help her stay pretty solid throughout all 50 laps tonight.
Yeah, her and Lester had a good battle for that 3rd position. Lester right now running in 4th, just behind Becca Monopoly, as he will work around the 05 of Jamie Sullivan. Sullivan had some issues last night, spun out on the front straightaway, was able to get rolling though and continue that race.
Saw Sullivan and her crew working on that truck earlier today as the 24 of Burkhalter runs right now in 5th, closes the gap on the 5. Look out! Oh, that was close as they work around the 26 truck. That got extremely close down in the corner. Annabelle Moish nearly making contact with the 24 and the 7.
The 24 of Burkhalter, you see him working the wheel out of the corner, really fighting the forward drive in this 24 truck. Nevertheless, still running down the 7 of Jason Lester for the 4th spot. Also joining that battle is Mickey Thomas in the 44. Back up front, there's your leader, 4 laps shy of halfway. Going to be 3 laps shy this time as lap 22 will flash up on the podium.
3 of Pugh leading the way. Very good run so far for Derek Pugh, West Palm Beach, Florida driver. He did win a 50-lap feature at New Smyrna last season, so he's trying to win one here tonight. After a decent run for a while last night, and then, as we mentioned, the truck seemed to have went away. Haskins running in 2nd, and there's 3rd place, 59, Becca Monopoly. Those top 3 are spread out pretty good right now.
Right now, Derek Pugh is the fastest driver on the racetrack. Cody Haskins not as dominant as we saw him last night. Becca Monopoly on your screen, about the same as last night. A solid 3rd place truck as we look for more battles out of turn number 4. The 44 of Mickey Thomas pulls the inside of Burkhalter.
Mickey Thomas wheel to wheel with Burkhalter coming off of turn number 2. 44 truck's been following Burkhalter here for the last few laps, trying to move up into the top 5. Burkhalter fell out extremely early last night. Didn't get a chance to show the strength of his truck as the 44 of Mickey Thomas, former competitor with the Georgia Asphalt Series, runs the inside lane. Burkhalter falls back out of the top 5 at the halfway mark. 26 in this time, 24 laps to go as we continue to watch 4th, 5th, and 6th.
The 44 of Mickey Thomas now reeling in Jason Lester in the 7. They work around the lap truck, the 55 of Todd Anglani. And now here comes Mickey Thomas. Thomas with a move to the inside, side by side, and going to use a little bit of the apron. I don't think the 7 of Lester was ready for that move. Nevertheless, Mickey Thomas away with the 4th spot.
Thomas has some pretty good brakes on that truck because I thought it would slide up and hit the 7 with as hard as he drove it in. He drove it in like he was running a Tour Type Modified. He thought he was Teddy Christopher heading into turn number 3 there. He drove it in so deep, but at 44 of Mickey Thomas stuck to the bottom of the track pretty good, made just slight contact, stayed in his lane, and picked up the position as Thomas is up to 4th. Lester's back to 5th. That's Monopoly again, the young lady behind the wheel of the 59 truck, running in the 3rd position. We watch the splits at the top of the screen as well for our top 5. Haskins 1.2 seconds back. Not as good as Pugh right now.
No, Haskins not as dominant as we saw him last night, side by side between Lester and the 24 of Burkhalter. Halter did lead that last lap for the 5th position. Lester now starting to go backwards.
20 laps to go, 30 complete this time at the stripe. The 8 of Klauser, the veteran driver there, got shuffled back on that first lap, went down to the bottom of the racetrack after some contact and barely was able to hang on to it. And now the 8 of Klauser trying to rally a little bit. Saul Burkhalter in the 24 just went out of the screen. The 7 of Lester and the 8 of Klauser.
Burkhalter really working the wheels sideways out of turn number 2 last time. I thought he was going to go around, did a good job hanging onto that truck. They remain single file. Klauser reeling in Lester lap after lap. Big wiggle from the 7 of Lester. He keeps it straight. So with lap 32 up on the board, 18 laps to go.
Looking back a little further as we watch him come by on our front straightaway, the 41 truck of Jeffrey White, next lead lap truck, as it's running in the 8th position. 54 of Michael Whipple. 54W of Whipple running 9th. That is a lead lap battle. Go forward again. You see the 7, Jason Lester, running by himself now. He's been involved in a number of battles in this race. Unfortunately for Lester, he's kind of fallen back a couple spots as of late.
It doesn't have a great truck this evening. Burkhalter holding on to 5th, moving up to 4th in the 44, Mickey Thomas. Thomas has made some improvements from last night. Going to try to reel in Becca Monopoly. That time by, he was a 10th faster than Becca Monopoly. And up front, your leaders starting to match lap times, and even more than that, Haskins has turned up the wick.
Haskins closing that gap. It was well over a second, and it's now down to 0.3 of a second as the lead battle is about to take place. And there they are as they work lap traffic. The 38 of Haskins gets to the inside of the 57. He's closed on the 3 of Pugh. Battle for the lead, 14 laps to go.
See Bray Holmes dragging some sort of metal, throwing some sparks, but I think we're going to see some sparks fly between our leaders. Derek Pugh in the 3. He's been showing the way, but now here comes Cody Haskins in the 38.
And I think you could see in 1 and 2 why he's given up a lot of ground. It seems like the grip level has gone away for the 3 of Pugh. He really was dirt tracking it through turn 1 and 2. Look at him coming off the corner, working that wheel hard, trying to stay ahead of Haskins.
Almost the same MO as last night. It hasn't taken that huge swing that we saw did last night, struggling to keep the right rear underneath that truck. As Haskins has really just stayed smooth and steady and methodically working his way up through the field, and wasted no time to pass some cars, but didn't use his stuff up in the process.
Sullivan has pulled the 05 into the pits off the back straightaway in a clean Pro Truck feature so far. 12 to go. Going to be 11 to go. The trouble spots on the racetrack, exit of the corners for the 3 of Pugh. That's where Haskins is going to be able to close that gap and maybe make his move. 3 of Pugh does a good job there to not give up any ground, but we've seen it more times than not in the last few laps, just giving up a lot of ground on the exit of the corners.
Jimmy Jackson, this 46, about to go a lap down. He'll drop out to the bottom, to the leaders, out of the leaders' way as they work around him on the high side and back into turns 1 and 2. 10 laps remaining Haskins has caught Pugh, but hasn't really been able to get to the rear bumper. He really closed the distance getting in the corner.
Oh, he's driving it in deep. As Haskins gets to the inside, pulls alongside Pugh. 9 to go, and for the number 1 spot, Haskins, it took him 41 laps, but he's there. A little bit of contact as he closes the door. See the damage to the left front on the nose piece and quarter fender area of the 3 of Derek Pugh, but out front's going to be the 38 of Haskins, and probably no stopping him now.
He used him up a little bit to get the lead, did Haskins, but now no looking back for this 38. 8 laps remaining, and he's had the dominant truck in practice and qualifying, and now in the race. Going to be 7 laps remaining. Still some lap cars or lap trucks ahead that could spell some trouble.
Looking down in 3 and 4, Monopoly in the 59, still running in the 3rd spot, but that 44 of Mickey Thomas has been on the move in this truck race. 7 laps to go. Thomas has a chance to catch and potentially pass the 59 of Monopoly. She's still holding a pretty wheel, bottom of the racetrack through the turns. That 44 of Thomas has been able to close into that gap as we go back to the leader, working some traffic. The 38 of Haskins taking a look to the low side of the 11.
Work around the 11 machine of Mike Kohut, lapping to the 11th spot right now. The 11 machine of Kohut running in 11th. They'll clear him with no problems. We see 5 laps to go from Ralph Miller in the starter stand.
5 laps remaining for the 38 of Haskins, looking for the sweep this weekend in Pro Truck Racing for the World Series. Going to be 4 to go, and the lead is up to 1.6, and it continues to grow lap after lap. Monopoly way back, 9 seconds from the lead duo. Thomas back just a few truck lengths of Monopoly the last time we saw that number 44, as the 38 leads the way. Haskins going to be 3 to go this time.
Off turn 4, he grabs a bit of the apron, and we'll see the 38 of Haskins once again coming up on the lap truck machine, but
second place truck right there of Pugh, working on the 77. Going to be 2 laps to go the next time by. You see the 38 truck of Haskins leading the way. Haskins down into turn number 1, working traffic. Has a big enough lead. The lead is up to 2.6 seconds now. He's putting big ground between himself and the 3 of Pugh, as the white flag will be in the air from Ralph Miller this time.
You see the ticker up on the top of the screen. Mickey Thomas did work around Becca Monopoly for that 3rd and final podium position, but been all this guy for the Pro Trucks. Cody Haskins has been dominant and continuing it tonight.
Haskins takes it into turn 3. Dominant win last night. Took him 41 laps to get out front to take the lead away from Pugh. Tonight, Haskins from Marietta, Georgia, wins again on night number 9.
Second place, Derek Pugh. 3rd was Mickey Thomas. Becca Monopoly. 4th, Donnie Burkhalter. And 5th, Jason Lester. Rich Klauser, Jeffrey White, Michael Whipple, former starter at Salem in the ARCA Menard Series, in 9th, and Darrell Rudd in 10th.
Mike Kohut, we saw him on the screen just moments ago get lapped. He takes 11th. Cole Hensley, Jimmy Jackson, Nick Hague, and Shea Montgomery, the rest of the top 15. Is the 38 of Haskins. He won all the races back in 2012 in the Pro Truck Championship, and this week he is 2 for 2 in Pro Truck Racing as he pulls into victory lane. Former Alan Kowicki driver development contender, as Haskins takes the win tonight. Down to our final 2 features of what has been a busy week at East Central Florida. Florida Modified's coming up next, a 35 lapper, and they put on great shows all week long. Those ones always up for grabs, and it's kind of been a cat and mouse game of who's been fast on different nights. Jerry Simons leading the points there as Haskins in victory lane. We send it down to Jana Wimmer.
Cody Haskins down here, like you said, in victory lane, just undoing those belts, about to climb out of this number 38 truck, and here he is, your winner tonight at Speed Weeks. need a little more excitement, or are you just getting too used to winning down here?
Well, we've won a couple. I mean, I really had to work for that one. They were very strong. I didn't think I was going to catch them there. So we had a good piece. I knew it'd be there for long runs, and just try to bank on having a long green flag run, which we were very fortunate we had.
2 wins. I mean, how fast, how awesome is this truck?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a great piece. We've won the Derby with it. Had a couple of different drivers. We won at Speed Fest with Josh Hicks a couple of weeks ago. So kind of grooming it, see if we can go pick us another Derby win up at the end of the year. I know it's a far-fetched deal, and we're still in January, but or February. I'd like to try to shoot for that and prepare this thing as best we can.
Cody Haskins 2 for 2 at Speed Weeks, guys.
He was good, no doubt. He was the favorite, I think, coming into this week. As you see, the top 15, we've already talked about him. Becca Monopoly just finishing out of the podium as Mickey Thomas was able to get her. Just a few laps to go in the race. Thomas taking the 3rd spot. Pugh finishing in 2nd in that number 3 truck, as Pugh had a good run tonight. The truck started to fade in the late going. We thought for a while, Casey, that he was going to be able to hold on for the win.
Yeah, but able to manage for a 2nd position tonight, and he's standing down with Jana Wimmer.
Yeah, Derek led there for a while. What was the difference in those final 10 laps or so?
I mean, the truck felt like it was on ice skates, but, I mean, we're having a lot of problems with the power steering right now and see if we can get that fixed out. But, I mean, had a blast racing here. It's nice to come home in 2nd.
I mean, driving on ice, that sounds like it'd be pretty tricky. I mean, how did you wheel this car to a 2nd place finish then?
Well, I mean, it definitely whooped my ass, that's for sure. I'm going to sleep good tonight, but, I mean, it's a lot of fun driving this. So, I mean, when you're really dedicated to do something, you'll go the extra mile to do it.
Derek Pugh with a solid 2nd place finish, guys.
Good run for Pugh in the number 3. A pretty doggone good run for the driver of the 44 truck, Mickey Thomas. Not to be confused with Mickey Thompson. Those are different types of trucks. We send it back down to Jana Wimmer.
Yeah, Mickey, obviously a strong 3rd place run to end Speed Weeks. How good does that feel?
Awesome. Kurt Britt set this truck up. We come out here and rent the truck from him. He does an awesome job, and man, I'm just glad I get to come out here and race, and was able to get up here in 3rd place. So just super happy, and had a lot of fun today.
A great podium finish for Mickey Thomas, guys.
There's your top 3 in the Pro Trucks tonight. Final 2 features coming up. Florida Modifieds. I always get excited for that division. It's coming our way next on fanschoice.tv.
50-50 winners claim. Last night's big prize is claimed. We're still looking for tonight. And a consolation prize. So I got one happy camper following me up to the tower. Now he knows what it's like to do this all night. Think we might have another winner here. Follow me up to the tower, guys. We'll be all taken care of. Congratulations, man. Thank you for coming to Symnra Speedway and supporting the World Series. There's our first one. Looks like we have another winner here. They get your ticket, sir, 484564. And that is good for our $61 consolation prize. There you are, sir. There's a little bit of money for you. What's your name? You've been here before. We appreciate you, man. I know it's not a whole lot of money, but a little bit helps, right? It takes your ticket. All right, man. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of the night. So we're still looking for our big prize, 484018 for $393. 484018 for $393. You have until the end of the Florida Modified race to claim that prize. Because we'll draw another ticket. So don't get it away just yet. If you threw them away in James, it could have been a winner. So one more time, 484018. Now we switch gears once again. The Florida Modified are coming out. Florida Modified now begin to roll off the pit lane. 35 laps for these guys tonight. Good job, sir.
The Florida Modifieds have rolled on the racetrack. Their final night of the 2019 campaign for the World Series. As the Florida Mods get ready to go 35 laps tonight, their championship night from New Smyrna Speedway.
It's the closest points battle we have here with these Florida Mods. Jerry Simons, your point leader, 8-point lead over Bill Burba in the 26 machine. And then Travis Eddy in third, 16 points back. Zach Knowles fourth, 20 points back. Wayne Parker rounds out the top five in your points, and he's 30 points back.
Simons with that 8-point advantage, that's a matter of 4 positions. So if Bill Burba can finish 5 spots ahead of Jerry Simons, he can win this championship. And he's done it by being consistent this week. He stayed on the racetrack, hasn't fallen out, doesn't have many top 5s to show for it, but has finished right outside the top 5. And by not having DNFs and losing all those points, he's been able to stay in the championship battle. We see the 15 of Timmy Moore, former champion of the World Series in the Florida Modifieds. The 78 of Travis Eddy starting in the second spot. Starting third, Jerry Simons, the 66, who is the point leader, looking for yet another championship. And Rick Warren's in the number 90, starting in the 4th position.
Augie Grill will be 5th on the inside of row 3 with Art Koonsman in the 9 machine in 6th. Ben Basowski in 7th, and 8th will be Dwayne Dempsey.
Starting ninth, the 1 of Wayne Parker. Stephen Nassy driving the Jet Concrete number 9 modified tonight. He starts 10th. Mike Dahm in the 21 starts 11th, and David LeBeau starts 12th in the 88. That's the lineup provided to us by Timing and Scoring for tonight's 35-lap feature. Let's talk about Timmy Moore in the 15. He started this week in his familiar 57 black and green car. Beautiful ride. Well, something went awry on opening night, and he jumped behind the wheel of the Robert Deal 15 for most of this speed week and has actually been more competitive each night as this week has gone along. So Timmy Moore starts on the pole. Travis Eddy, he's been up and down a little bit. He's been fast, that 75-lapper. He should have won, but he ran out of fuel. He was dominant that night. 66 of Jerry Simons, 112 of Augie Grill outside of row number 2. Here we go, 35 laps. The distance tonight.
Off turn 4, green flag in the air, and sideways for Simons, sideways for Moore. To the lead, problems for the 66 of Dempsey. He gets that back under control, and we go down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Dempsey very close to going up and hitting the outside wall. How about Timmy Moore fighting back on Travis Eddy? Going to have the lead at lap 1. Jerry Simons wasting no time to get up and compete for the lead spot. Comes across the line in third, but trying to take second from Eddy. Look out as they come close to hitting coming off of 2.
Wheel to wheel down the back straightaway. Simons not wasting any time. Eddy rolling the high side. Augie Grill has joined this battle as well. The 15 of Timmy Moore. Holding on to the top spot as Eddy and Simons duel it out.
Simons on the inside lane. Eddy on the outside. Simons now making a run at the leader. Timmy Moore going down the backstretch, heading into the third corner. Augie Grill, the veteran in the 112. He's had a good modified car this week as well. Had a pretty good pro late as well. And that car demolished on a crash earlier this week when the left front tire went down.
Travis Eddy had an event off turn 4. Did a great job hanging on to that car. As we focus on our leaders side by side into turn number 3, the 66 of Simons will take the lead here on lap number 4.
Simons out front in the lead. Jerry Simons takes the lead, a driver from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. His home track right here, has been coming to this racetrack for decades and competing here at the World Series. Numerous championships and wins. And right now, going to be tough to beat tonight. Eddy's car sometimes gets better on longer green flag runs. We'll see if that's the case for the 78 this evening.
He was fighting the handling on that car for sure in the beginning. So a couple of big wiggles out of him, but he usually starts to calm down. He gets into a rhythm as the race goes on. See him passing the 21 of Mike Dahm, put him a lap down as Eddy starts to pull up to the back bumper of Timmy Moore.
Augie Grill running in the 4th spot in the 112. Wayne Parker's rallied from 10th up into the top 5. Parker's got a good car tonight. And here comes Eddy. Into second. Travis Eddy on lap number 7 will take the spot. 7 complete at the line for the 78 of Travis Eddy. He's running in the 2nd position.
Also Augie Grill and Wayne Parker just behind him as well. Wayne Parker closing in on this battle. Augie Grill starting to feel the pressure from the 1W. Talk about an up and down week. Wayne Parker started out the week with a win, then a 14th, 12th, 1st, and 12th. Now going to try to close out the week strong here in the Florida Modifieds.
We talked about that point battle before this race began. Bill Burba was second in the standings. He is a no-go, no-show tonight for the Florida Modifieds, and no chance to overtake Jerry Simons for the championship. Simons leading. Looks like he might try to put an exclamation point on his week. Simons has 6 Florida Modified titles. A 7th, if he can claim it tonight, would put him second behind only Teddy Christopher, who has 10 championships in World Series history, 9 with the Tour Type mods and 1 SK Modified championship.
Wayne Parker going to move underneath the 112 of Augie Grill and take the 4th position away from Augie Grill. Now going to go to work on that 3rd spot of Timmy Moore. And I tell you what, Travis Eddy's turned the wick up. He's been about 2/10 a lap faster than your leader, Simons, but side by side for 3rd.
I think you're going to see Wayne Parker in the 1 start to close the gap as well. That car looks to be very fast as he's been working through traffic. He had to start pretty deep in the field. Meanwhile, the 66 of Simons, 78 of Eddy, they started in the first couple of rows, but Wayne Parker has been making up some big ground. And an up and down week for Wayne Parker. He's won He's had bad breaks on restarts, was penalized for jumping a start one night or moving out of line on a single file restart. But he is he's back, and he's running strong in the 1W, as you see Grill in the 112 and the 15 of Timmy Moore.
Off turn number 4, lap 13 up on the board. Across the front straightaway and then through turns 1 and 2. Augie Grill rolling the inside. Timmy Moore sideways out of turn 2. As Augie Grill able to close the gap, they're going to drive around the lap machine of David LeBeau off turn number 4.
LeBeau lapped, down to 9 drivers on the lead lap. As we watch the 15 of Timmy Moore and the 112 of Augie Grill make their way through 1 and 2. 20 laps to go this time by, looking a little further toward the front. I think the 1 of Parker is closing the gap a little bit on Eddie, and I think Eddie's also closing the gap on the 66 of Simon. So this one could heat up down the stretch, and it might heat up sooner than that because the field slows. Yellow flag is out as we have a spin up in turn 4. One of our nightly contenders this week, the 66 car of Dwayne Dempsey from St. Petersburg, Florida. Last appearance here at the World Series was in 2012, where he had a top 5 and was 10th in the standings. He pulls away from the scene of the spin in turn 4. He'll continue on here tonight.
Field slows down, 20 laps short of the final checkered flag for the Florida Modifieds. We are still not done after this race. We have the Super Stocks come out for their first appearance this year at the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, and some good cars, strong cars, have shown up for the Super Stocks.
66 of Dempsey will tag the tail in the field. 20 laps to go. Jerry Simons, I would say, would have liked to seen that stay green a little bit longer because now he's got his work cut out for him. Travis Eddy was turning faster laps. Fastest lap the last time by when they completed lap 15 was Wayne Parker, by almost 2/10 over Eddie and by about 3/10 over Simons.
Yeah, things far from over. In this Florida Modified race, we take a good look at the pace car and some of the billboards. There is the scoring pylon on the back straightaway.
15 laps in, 20 laps to go. 1 of Parker, 15 of Moore, 112 of Grill right there. 3rd, 4th, and 5th in our rundown. But the top 2 will be side by side. 1 to go signal given. Restart coming up a lap from now. Looking for a 7th World Series championship. The 66 of Jerry Simons. With Burba not here and a 16-point lead on Eddie. Eddie would have to finish 9 positions ahead of Simons. 8 to tie and 9 to win by 2 points. That's going to be tough to do, especially if Simons finishes this race. As the pace car drops to pit road, Simons brings the field in. Green flag is out. Eddie alongside as they cross the stripe.
Good jump on the outside by Simons. Going to clear Eddie. Sparks flying between Parker and Timmy Moore. Now Parker going to drop to the inside of Eddie. Eddie really struggles on get rolling here on these restarts.
Yeah, it takes a few laps to get that 78 car hooked up and ready to go. Got to get some heat in the tires, and once he goes for a few laps, it doesn't drop off like the other cars do. He's in 3rd now. We're watching Nassi. First time we've seen the 9 car in this modified tonight as Nassi moves up another spot, takes a position away from Grill. He's in the top 5. Top 3, nose to tail. Eddie getting up to speed now, but Simons and Parker to battle it out for the lead, and Parker's a little bit quicker.
Wayne Parker going to be looking for his 3rd victory of this year and fighting that car. Out of turn number 2, they stay single file for the lead. I don't think that's going to last long as Simon's struggling a little bit compared to Wayne Parker. Parker may try to the inside. No, Simon's going to block.
Simons running the bottom, just giving a little bit of ground, middle of the corner as he diamonds off the turn. The 1 of Parker right there behind him. Within a half-car length, takes a look to the outside, will drop it across the bottom, gets a run, hits the flat, loses some momentum, and follows Simons across with 16 to go.
It's tough to pass somebody when they're diamond in the corner like this. You just have to wait for them to move up in the middle of the corner and then try to slide your nose in there when they drift up the racetrack. And Parker going to have to methodically pass the 66 of Jerry Simons as they begin to open up their lead over the 78 of Eddie in third.
Working around Dom, the 21 car again, as Parker gets a good run coming off of turn number 2. Looks to the inside, but Simons takes it into the corner pretty deep. 15 to go. Going to be 14 this time for Jerry Simons.
Yeah, Simons really closes up that entry. It leaves no room for Parker to try to make a move there. As we move back deeper in the field to the 9 of Stephen Nassy and the 112 of Augie Grill. These two know about racing each other quite often.
Super late model competitors running in the modifieds this week. Good to see them both with us. We've been fortunate. We had Bubba Pollard all week long. We had Augie Grill all week long. A couple drivers you don't normally think of seeing at the World Series. But it's been great to have them with us in some of the other divisions for Grill with prolates and modifieds until the prolate had that unfortunate break, cut down a tire, and destroyed the car a few nights ago. So we watched Simons and Parker, first and second. 12 to go that time. It's just going to take one little mistake for Simons for Parker to pounce.
As the laps go on, too, I believe Simons' car going to start to fall off even more than the one of Parker. Parker just so good on these long runs. Him and Travis Eddy have proven to be the best on the long runs, and now Eddie looks like he's creeping back into the picture little by little, and Simon's going to start, in my mind, start falling off here just in a little bit.
They are nose to tail, and they've been that way just about since the restart that took place. With 20 to go. Oh, Simons cuts down the left front tire, and Parker gets by. Look at the damage on the left side of the race car.
Yeah, when Parker slid by to the inside, barely nicked that left rear quarter, and it almost sheared it completely off. Tough break for Jerry Simons in the 66. We'll park it up top, turn number 2.
Unfortunate break for the leader. And remember, point leader as well. It's close between he and Eddie.
Eddie has to
get
win
to the pits. He needs to get back to the pits and get this thing back on the racetrack.
Eddie needs to win, and Simons either needs to finish last or second to last.
Yeah, Simons needs to be within 8 spots of Eddie. And if Eddie wins, just taking a look at their wins this week, Travis Eddy has picked up 1 win. Jerry Simons
I don't think
has
Simons
not actually picked up a win on night number 7.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that gives each of them 1 win. So the tiebreaker normally goes to if they happen to tie in points, and it's 2 points per position. The differential between those two was 16. So if Eddie finishes 8 spots ahead, then they tie.
And Eddie has another second place. I would assume the tiebreaker would go to who has the most wins. They both have the same amount of wins. Then it would go to who has the most second places, and that is Eddie with 2 second place finishes. Jerry Simons only has 1 second place, a 4th, a 6th, and a 12th. As the crew goes to work on Simons, this could be a crucial. Could be a crucial pit stop. They're going to work on the left rear quarter and change that left front tire.
So left rear tire going down, and then the left quarter panel tore off. So a couple of tires going on this car, 10 laps to go. Official watching on pit road. Simons trying to win a championship, his 7th in World Series history, which is, again, only behind Ted Christopher.
There's only 1 lap to go. You saw Ralph Miller in the flag stand, gave the field the 1 to go signal. So if Simons wants to rejoin the field, he's going to have to do it now. The field coming out of turn number 2, Simons still in his pit stall. Still hasn't let him go. The field getting ready to go into turn 3. This could be bad for your point leader.
Wow, Travis Eddy won the championship 2 years ago in Florida Modifieds. The work continues on Simons. Coming off of turn 4, green flag is out. Still 11 cars on the racetrack. Eddy falls in line in second, but he really can't allow many of these cars to pass him. If they do, then it's going to be all for naught as they go down the backstretch into the corner. The battle there between the 9 of Nassy and the 15 of Moore. They come down to complete lap number 26. 1 lap down, the 66 of Simons. The crew still working on the car. With that, Simons has already fallen to 8th. Just the cars that are a lap down are behind him as we watch the one of Parker enter turn number 3. Coming now, 8 laps to go. Simons still on pit road. Eddie trying to win a championship.
Going to have to step it up here. A win would definitely secure that top spot in the points, but right now Wayne Parker looks to have the best car. But looking at the 15 of Timmy Moore, and there's Ben Basowski and Augie Grill. Grill really been fighting the handling of this race car. Simons still on pit road.
Yeah, and right now there's 7 spots separating as Eddie's in 2nd and Simons is shown in the 9th position, but Dom is still out there running, though a couple of laps down. He'll eventually pass him in the rundown. Simons still on pit road as we watch Basowski in the 75. Now we see Nassi in the 9 car running in the 3rd spot. Nassi in 3rd. Now we go back to Basowski. They're trying to get the 66 of Simons fired up, and he does pull from pit road. He has been passed in the rundown by Mike Dom, who is a lap ahead of him now, as we watch Basowski in the 75 and the 112 of Grill. So right now there's an 8-position differential. Eddie's in 2nd. Simons is in 10th. 8 positions is the difference in the points battle, 16 points. If they tie in points, then it will come to tiebreakers, where they each have wins this week. 1. Right now, Parker leading the way. Eddie runs in 2nd. 4 laps to go. There's Travis Eddy in the 78. Just worked around Simons in the 66. Dom's 2 laps ahead of Simon in the rundown, so it's going to be tough for Simons to make up that ground as he rides around the racetrack after that flat tire and a lot of work that went on to that car to get him back out on the track. Eddie would like to get up there just to make sure so he could pass him, win it, and then I think for sure he would have the championship, because we'll have to get official word from the track on the tiebreaker status, but it looks like Eddie right now would have the tiebreaker. You mentioned the 2nd place finishes they have. 2 laps to go, 33 complete. Final 2 laps for Wayne Parker and Travis Eddy.
Wayne Parker out front, and this is the championship. Wayne Parker has the lead. Eddie's really closed in. A white flag this time. Who's it going to be?
Down the back straightaway, Parker in the 1. Another great run. He has won so many Florida modified races the last 2 years at the World Series, and tonight he adds another to that list. Wayne Parker wins tonight at New Smyrna. 2nd place to Travis Eddy. 3rd to Nassi. Another good run in the 9. I don't believe he even hot-lapped the car earlier. Timmy Moore finishes 4th. Augie Grill takes 5th. Ben Bosowski takes 6th. Dwayne Dempsey takes 7th. David LeBeau 8th. Mike Dom takes 9th. Jerry Simons takes 10th. So by my count, that would put him in a virtual tie in the point numbers between Eddy and Simons. If the tiebreaker is 1st place finishes, they've tied, I think, with each 1 win this week. If it goes down then to 2nd place finishes,
this would give Travis Eddy 3.
Travis Eddy would have then 3 2nd place finishes to Simons having just 1. And that's exactly what the public address announcer, the voice of New Smyrna Speedway, Ryan Stevens, is talking about as Wayne Parker stops in victory lane. And the tiebreaker, what they are talking about is the tiebreaker, and I'm sure they're looking through the records just like we already have with what the tiebreaker is, as Jana Wimmer stands by down in the pits. Jana, things got pretty exciting here tonight. Unfortunate break for Simons. Really made things close in the point battle.
Yeah, it really did. A tough break for Jerry Simons. No one likes to see that. The history he has here and how well he has done here, a tough break for him, and there's probably an excited Travis Eddy we're going to talk to pretty soon, guys.
Officials still going through everything, working on it for the point championship. Wayne Parker climbs out. Jana is with him.
Wayne Parker climbing out. Fist pump for the crowd. Oh, and he's not done celebrating, guys. Are we going to do a backflip? I was waiting for a backflip.
Oh, I mouthed off a couple years ago and said I would do that after I won 4 because I didn't think I'd ever win 4 in a row. And then we won 4 and they were waiting. I was like, I don't think so. First thing I got to thank is Jason and Bobby. My good brain.
How does it feel to be here in Victory Lane?
It feels real good. And Kenny.
There we go. We got to remember everybody. Anyone else?
My wife for putting up with all of this, for putting up with me hours and hours and hours and weeks and months in the garage working on this thing. So
never forget the wife. Good job. But how good does it feel to be here in Victory Lane on the last night of Speed Weeks?
It feels fantastic. This is our 3rd time this week, and Jason and Kenny have been working on the car all week, day and night. They've been doing awesome on the car.
If you get up the courage for that backflip, let us know. But guys, Wayne Parker here in Victory Lane.
The announcer if he would spot, and he said yes. I was looking for him.
Wayne Parker there, the driver of the one, excited with another victory. He had a very good race car tonight, maybe the best car that he's had all week because he had to come from deep in the field while Eddie and Simon started toward the front.
Yeah, it was cool to see Wayne Parker after all the up and down rides he's had here in the 2019 World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing to cap it off with a solid position, solid win for the Florida Modifieds, and there is your unofficial top 15.
Travis Eddy finishing second for the 3rd time this week. Stephen Nasse, Tim Moore, Augie Grill, and then Ben Bosowski finishing in 6th. Wayne Dempsey 7th. David LeBeau, Mike Dahm, Jerry Simons finishing 10th. And that was a killer for his championship hopes because he looked like he had it wrapped up when Bill Burba didn't start the race tonight. And unfortunately for Burba, had he started the race tonight, he'd have probably been your World Series champion.
Yeah, I don't think that Travis Eddy would have been able to get him if he had a consistent, solid run that he usually had. But Jenna Wimmer standing by now after all the calculations. They've figured out Travis Eddy, your champion, and Jenna's down with him.
Yeah, guys, they just came and handed this nice-looking trophy to Travis Eddy, champion here at Speed Weeks. How good does that feel?
It feels awesome. I mean, we never thought that we had a chance at winning it after night 1 when we got disqualified. And we had 1 win after that. And then it seemed like every other night we ended up 2nd. So it worked out, and other people had their bad luck. So once it ran full circle, we ended up back on top, and I would have never guessed it.
What was going through your head when you did see Jerry pull off the track?
Well, I seen something must have fell off another car and seen him hit it. And it looked like his left front exploded, and I wasn't really thinking much of any of that at the time. I was just thinking, well, now I only got 1 more car to try and pass instead of 2.
Travis Eddy, your 2019 Speed Weeks champion.
2017 the champion, 2019 the champion. Didn't race at the World Series 1 year ago, so he gave him a chance to get a championship down here without him. But, man, he squeezed this one out, and that's got to be tough to do. Disqualification one night really took a lot of points away from him as we head down to our 3rd-place finisher, Stephen Nasse.
Stephen Nasse, another car, another podium finish. How fun has this been for you?
Yeah, it's been a really fun last couple of days. I was excited when the word got brought up about maybe being able to take the modified out and run it. This car's been sitting in the shop for like 2 years doing nothing. They were going to take it out of the Derby, but with obviously the rain and stuff, that all fell through. So that would have been the first race on it in 2 years. So technically, this is really like one of the first races on this car in 2 years. So to come out and run as strong as we did, it's awesome. I had a lot of fun. I don't get to run a modified too much. I'd say it's 4th or 5th time, so it's always a learning experience for me at the same time. But tonight we were fortunate enough to get a good finish, and these guys have been running here all week, so I was expecting to get beat by them. I wasn't really expecting a Cinderella story of coming out here and just tearing them up. They've been working hard all week long, so another strong finish for the Jet Motorsports team. I appreciate them letting them drive the stuff. Again, my nieces and nephews might be asleep by now, but I want to say hello again just in case. They got really mad at me last night when I didn't say something, so I won't make that mistake again. But all in all, good Speed Weeks for us, the supers and the modified and sportsmen. So we're ready to get on to the regular season.
Are we going to see a career change in cars for you after how much fun you've had the last couple of nights here?
No, I wouldn't say that, but you're going to see me in the other ones a lot more.
Stephen Nasse, 3rd-place finish.
Stephen Nasse, good run again. Finishes in the top 3 as our top 3 Florida modified drivers lined up on the front straightaway. We are down to 1 final feature tonight in the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing Super Stocks, a 50-lapper. It's next on fanschoice.tv. Welcome back to New Smyrna Speedway, night number 9, final night of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing as the Super Stock Division is on the racetrack. Their only run of the week, 50 laps. They will go the distance tonight. As you see them roll onto the track and a chance to run here at the World Series. It's their only scheduled appearance of the week as we see them roll around the racetrack under yellow here at the start of the race. See a good look at our field. Some 15 drivers scheduled to go tonight. As at the front of the field, the 9 of Kate Klauser scheduled to start up front. Don't see the number 9 car at the front of the field, though, so maybe some issues there. 99 of Paul Kochi. 56 of Bobby Hawley. 37 of Art Hendren in the top 4 starting spots. Mike Amato in the 2X. David Gould in the 16, Michael Chalky in the 44, Justin Reynolds in the 77, John Ripley in the 8, William Heinman driving the 89, Travis Sukup in the 45, Jeff Colburn in the 6, Mike Dahm in the 21, George Dahm in the 21X, and Don Duvall in the 30. That's the field. Coming to green, turn number 4, ready to go at the World Series. Final race of our 9 nights of action, and we've already got them looking 3 wide in this 50-lap event.
Good jump on the outside by Art Hendren. He's going to go way up the racetrack, 3 wide, and we got contact the 16 with a big wiggle down the backstretch. He's going to hang on to it somehow.
Big time trouble avoided. Looked like a scary moment there. Paul Kochi racing up front. Now the 16, David Gould off the pace again on the bottom side of the racetrack. So we watch him head through turns 1 and 2. We've got drivers in the bottom. We've got drivers in the middle of the racetrack and drivers at the top lane of the racetrack. Justin Reynolds in the 77 has raced his way from deep in the pack, making moves at the front of the field. Under green early on, Reynolds leading the way. Reynolds started this race in row number 4, was fast earlier in qualifying. Reynolds second back in January 5th at that event, and a former Super Stock champion. He's the driver that leads the way. Kochi's in second, Trocky's in third, Hendren in 4th, and Gould in 5th.
Trocky involved in a family that's been in racing for a while. There is your leader, Justin Reynolds. Reynolds been fast all day long and already has a close to a 2-second lead. And we got one car around the 8-ball machine. John Ripley had a little help.
Yeah, Ripley had some contact from behind, causing that 8 car to spin down in turns 1 and 2. Just a few laps complete of our 50 laps as Ripley was running in the 7th spot as yellow flag is out.
Believe it or not, he's going the right way now.
That he is. The old 8-ball special. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week on fanschoice.tv. If you didn't get a chance to come to the World Series, you're missing out. It's great to be here. The weather's been phenomenal the last few days. Temperatures in the 70s, maybe even close to 80 today. Going to be around 80 degrees at the Daytona 500 tomorrow, where you'll, of course, be watching your brother race in the 500.
Yep.
Going to be exciting for you there and enjoying some good weather at the same time. And the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing for 50 years or so. There's been 53 of them. For a couple of years, they had 2 World Series events during the course of a year.
You got really no excuse not to come out here to the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. Adam Mackey drives like 16 hours, warps the rotors on his car every year just to make it down here.
Through the mountains and uphill both ways, I think, is the way it goes, and wouldn't miss it. Been able to come down and cover the World Series the last 9 years or so.
Apparently downhill both ways. You can ride those brakes.
That's right. A lot of downhill. Last 9 years or so, I think since 2011 with the Snowball Derby for Speed 51, and, of course, Fans Choice TV here covering live video action of the World Series, and gives a chance for people all across the world to check out the racing action from beautiful confines of New Smyrna Speedway as we bunch them up. And, of course, this all wouldn't be possible with everyone that's been behind the cameras this week, been behind the scenes running the board, calling the shots, and we'll talk more about that as the race goes on. But we've got a green flag back out on the racetrack as the 77 of Justin Reynolds goes back out front.
Close call between the 99 of Paul Kochi and the 2X machine of Mike Amato. They made contact out of turn 2. They were able to get everything straightened out. 4 laps down at the stripe, side by side for third. Here comes Trocky.
Trocky in the 44 picks up a spot. He won the January 5th event here at the racetrack. So we now see the 2X of Mike Amato go to the bottom of the racetrack. The 99 of Kochi on the outside lane, and Amato picks up the position. Amato now up into the 4 spot.
Amato looking solid here so far. Back up front, battle for the lead. Justin Reynolds, David Gould. Gould ran his fastest lap of the race on that last lap, but still Justin Reynolds, the fastest driver on the speedway, going to lead lap 6 here at the stripe.
16 in the 2nd spot, David Gould. Michael Trocky running in the 3rd spot. Or is that an old Petty machine out there?
Could be. Could be. They could have pulled it out from the shed, fired her up, and Michael Trocky currently holds it inside the top 3.
One off the pace, bottom of the racetrack. William Heinman able to make it back to pit road. You see the 99 running in 5th right now. Paul Kochi saw him up at the front of the field a little while ago. That car just a little bit free. Saw it wiggle in the middle of the corners. 37 of Art Hendren running in the 6th spot right behind him. Looking back toward the front of the field now. 2X of Mike Amato running in the 4th spot there, 2nd and 3rd. The 16 of David Gould, the 44 of Michael Trocky. In front of them, Justin Reynolds still leads the way.
Michael Trocky's been the fastest driver on the racetrack past couple of laps now on the back bumper of David Gould. Gould rolls the inside lane. Going to be 9 laps completed this time. Trocky going to possibly try the inside line on out of turn number 2. Gets a good run here off the corner, and we have a battle for 2nd.
2nd place battle for the 16 of David Gould, the 44 of Michael Trocky. Gould, a driver from Melbourne, Florida. 4th in the January 5th event here at the track. Holding a solid wheel down at the bottom lane of the racetrack through the turns. Going to make it a little tougher for the 44 of Trocky to get a run. Not going to be able to go to the inside unless he moves him out of the way, but Trocky will take a peek to the outside in that big old 44.
Still single file for the 2nd position as your leader. Justin Reynolds has moved out to nearly a 1-second lead over David Gould. Gould keeping Trocky at bay here with 12 laps complete at the line. Good run this time for Trocky. Pulls right to the back bumper. The 16 of David Gould. Gould running a nice and even line. Whoa, and a little bit of brake check there from the 16 of Gould. That was interesting. Wasn't sure if maybe he had to check up or car might have had some sort of issue.
Talked about some of those that made these broadcasts possible this week. Mark Keeler doing a great job calling all the shots, doing all the switches, doing all the graphics. As he's been a busy man this week, making things happen here and fixing any problems that may take place as we continue to watch the battle for the 2nd spot. Of course, Bob and Angie Dillner helping put everything together for our staff down here. As take a look at the folks watching the racing action from the infield as we come off of turn number 4. Still watching some battles in our top positions as the 37 goes up the track. That's Art Hendren in 6th spot. Travis Sukup running in 7th. It's Art Hendren in the 37 running in the 7th spot. Sukup right behind him just out of the screen. As we look now, battle for 2nd. 44 of Michael Trocky makes the move on David Gould, and you can give Trocky the number 2 spot. Of course, on the air, Casey LaJoy and myself, Adam Mackey, calling most of the action this week. Bob Dillner stopped by for some super late model and modified action on Wednesday night. He's been a busy man down here with dirt track action, as well as here at New Smyrna Speedway. We've had Kendra Adams on the air at times, also running some camera for us, helping us out up here as our pit liaison. Also had Zach Evans, Jeff Fisher running camera, Alec Jorgensen on hand running camera for us. Jeff Christensen down in turn 1 and 2 giving us most of the shots. Jeff Fisher giving us shots from high atop throughout the week. Of course, Dylan Smith was here for a lot of the week. Actually did some reports for us down in the pits. Greg Stevens was here for part of the week and did some camera work for us. Connor Sullivan, he's been a busy man this week. Of course, Melissa Straley's with us. And all of those that make it possible here at the World Series for us to bring this action to you. Many of those same people working alongside of us here in the booth, doing the trackside now coverage on Speed 51 as well as the 44 car right there. Michael Trocchi running in the second position. Justin Reynolds, front of the pack, heading down the backstretch, has built up a pretty sizable lead. At the January 5th event, Casey, Michael Trocchi won the event. Justin Reynolds finished in second. Right now, they're switched around the opposite direction.
Problem for your leader, though. Justin Reynolds slowed down the front straightaway and now comes to a stop. Not sure what happened. Don't see any damage on that machine. He's rolling away.
Advanced Land Solutions number 77 pulling away, but bad break for Justin Reynolds.
See some sparks fly out from underneath.
Something breaking in front of that race car. Yeah, look at the left front.
I don't think he's supposed to do that.
Suspension braking on the 77. Wow. While leading, fortunately, he didn't go up and slam the wall. Could have destroyed a very fast race car. At this point, got to be frustrating for Justin Reynolds. Yellow's out. He'll go to the pits. It's the left front on the 77 of Reynolds.
Brings that car down to the attention of his crew. See the front of the machine shake back and forth. Comes to a halt. And I don't know if that's going to be fixable here under this caution. Just shy of halfway as well.
30 laps to go in this 50-lap race for the Super Stocks at New Smyrna Speedway. Taking a look at the car on pit road here, I think they have pretty much given up any hope of trying to get him back out on the racetrack after assessing the issue, and one of the crew members will go try to get some tools and see what they can come up with.
Could be as simple as
something
a
coming
bolt
loose,
falling off, or just throw a bolt back in and he's good to go. Surely would make this race interesting.
Michael Trocchi becomes the leader in the 44 car.
Trocchi was just about as fast as Justin Reynolds. Man, they were matching lap time, but there was no way, I don't think, unless we got a caution, that Trocchi was going to be able to reel him down unless Reynolds had some sort of an issue. And right now, I think they're waiting on the crew member to get back with tools to fix this car. As the field still rolls under caution, they haven't double filed up yet. There is another car stopped in turn number 3. I believe that is, you can see the number on it. It might be the 56 of Bobby Holly. Crew member's back.
Looks like exactly what they're trying to do. Tighten something back up on the left front. The other crew member racing around to the right side of the car. One of the drivers from another class here, helping out the 77.
Tell you what, if he can come back and win this race, maybe something we need to pay attention to is they've got the 56 of Bobby Holly pushed back to pit road. He's going to come to the attention of his pit crew.
Hood's going back on. It looks like they're going to try to get him back out on the racetrack. Field doubling up. Looks like we're going to get the 1-to-go signal.
Just in time for the 77 as he begins to pull away, going to rejoin the field.
77 pulling out on the racetrack, but we'll restart from the tail. 30 laps to go. Will the car be okay? It was a quick fix. 44 of Trocchi, the leader. 16 of Gould in second. 2 of Amato in third. Off of turn number 4. Green is out. Here we go again. And the 77 is out there. Restarting from the tail, Justin Reynolds. And his car looks to be going through the corners pretty well. He's got a chance to come through the field. Might get a little exciting in tonight's Super Stock race.
There you see him going to try to make it 3 wide here. Close call between the 8 of John Ripley, the 99, big wiggle out of Ripley, and the 77 of Justin Reynolds. Going to move around both of those drivers. Still less than halfway. Still 20, if I can do math right, 28 laps to go, 29 laps to go. Going to be 28 to go this time.
Watching him race through turn number 4 as that 77 of Reynolds has moved into the top 10, trying to take 9th away. Of course, we had that tight point battle in the Florida Modifieds we just got done watching tonight, where Travis Eddy tied in points with Jerry Simons, but wins the championship with the tiebreaker of the most second-place finishes. They tied in wins. We also wondered why Bill Burba didn't run tonight. Did receive word that he had engine issues, blew the engine, and that's why he wasn't racing in tonight's modified feature, or he very likely could have ended up with the Florida Modified Championship. As we watch the 2X take a run to the inside, Mike Amato gets to the inside of Art Hendren. And there's the 77, Reynolds, coming back up through the field. Reynolds has found himself another spot, trying to work by the 2 car right now.
Race monitor is showing Reynolds a lap down, though. I'm not sure if that is correct.
Wow, that's tough. Should not be a lap down, I don't believe. He came to a stop, but he was on the lead lap at that point. It obviously didn't score him when he was rolling down pit road and came out, so that's most likely why he was scored a lap down, unless they penalize him for stopping to bring out a yellow. We'll get word on that for the 77, because on the racetrack he's worked himself up to 3rd.
Right. Looking at the points for the Super Stocks, the track points, no points for him here at the World Series, but that man right there, Michael Trocchi, has the top spot. They've only ran 1 race this year. This will be the 2nd race they've ran. Trocchi won that race. Justin Reynolds was 2nd. He's 2nd in the points. Charles King is 3rd in points. David Gould 4th, and John Smith is 5th in the points here for the Super Stock.
And there you see the 77 of Justin Reynolds rallying up into the 3rd position. And the word was the 77 was penalized, and was penalized a couple of laps for bringing out the yellow flag. So it's unfortunate, because it would have made it an interesting race, but we see it a lot, and drivers stopping to bring out yellows, and it's frustrating when they do it most of the time. We were being a little selfish there, hoping to see a good race and
rally
watch
up to
him
the front.
rally back to the front of the field, which he might do anyway. It's just not going to be on the same lap. He'll try to unlap himself. He's still working at it, as he's actually caught the 2nd place car. We watch the leader, Michael Trocchi. Trocchi dominating right now, trying to go 2 for 2 to start the 2019 season. All of these World Series races in the divisions that the track runs on a regular basis, like this class, as some contacts made, as the 77 of Reynolds got to the inside of the 2nd place car of David Gould. Gould will move over and let him go, which would be smart, because they're not even on the same lap.
Not for position, as
go ahead.
I was just going to say the 77 passing us out for the 2nd spot, although not 2nd. He's going to need to pass him 2 more times for it to be 2nd.
I was going to say that as I go back and talk about the races this week, did count toward the track season standings. That hasn't been the case in recent years, but if you ran a super late model here all week, like a Bubba Pollard, those points actually counting toward the track championship points. So it was very important. If you're going to run for a championship at the World Series, and you might run a championship for the full season here at New Smyrna Speedway for the summer, which were kind of kept separately before. Now the World Series points counting toward the regular track championship season as well. Down to the final 18 laps. Trocchi across the line. 17 laps to go, and a big lead he's built up over David Gould in the 2nd spot.
About 5.5 second lead for Michael Trocchi. He'd almost start coasting from here in that 44 machine. Richard Petty-esque 44.
Good-looking race car at the front of the pack. And it's hooked up, running the bottom lane through 1 and 2. See if it stays glued to that bottom lane, going through 3 and 4 as well. It does. See a lot of the other divisions, whether it be the Tour Type Modifieds, Florida Modifieds, or Super Late Models, they run a higher groove through turns 1 and 2, a lower lane through turns 3 and 4, as each end of this track just a little bit different.
Yes, it is. And you can see the drivers will race each other different on both ends. You can really get to the bottom side of 3 and 4 and hook it nicely as 1 and 2. They come off the corner. You see them slide up a little bit. Not a lot of grip on the exit of turn 2, and a close call. The outside wall snuck up on the 77 of Justin Reynolds. Second as far as track position, but 8th as far as where he's being scored.
Just kind of watching some of the lap times they're turning. Reynolds 21.5, Trockey 21.7 last time. So Reynolds, if he were on the same lap and up there competing with Trockey would have his hands full. Those are the fastest 2 cars at the first 2 races of the season. Going back to the January 5th event here at the racetrack. 13 laps to go for Trockey, going to be 12 at the line this time. We look back a little further in the field. See the 9 of Kate Klauser. She's worked her way up into the 5th spot. She's having a good run. Had to start at the back of the field after originally being scheduled to start up front.
Solid run for Kate Klauser and Art Hendren as well. There is the 9 of Klauser. I'd say they bring out those old vintage ground pounders and make this a race.
Oh, that made it a race last night. The ground pounders finished out the night last night.
Got a little dicey there.
Yeah, vintage race cars that were actually in the car show for the Richie Evans Memorial, and they went out and raced 25 laps at the end of the night, and there were about 3 or 4 cars that were going hard at the win, using every lane from the bottom down by the flat all the way up to the top of the racetrack, and they were fast, uncomfortably fast for those older cars. And actually tore up some equipment.
Some of them had a big motor in there. They ran awfully nice down the straightaway. The only problem was when they got to the corner, they had to turn. That ASA car scared us a couple times.
That it did. It was hooked up.
What? Well,
it didn't get too free.
It's hooked up on the cushion.
It was hooked up on the cushion.
Looked like Jonathan Davenport out there a few laps.
44 of Trockey leading the way down to the final 9 laps of the World Series. It's hard to believe it. We've called a lot of laps, a lot of action this week, and I've been watching online, and the fans appreciate what everyone has done this week to be able to catch the action if they couldn't make it to New Smyrna Speedway here during the month of February. And we thank everyone for tuning in this week. We thank all of the folks at fanschoice.tv and NASCAR for making it possible as well. As we watch the 16 of David Gould crossing the line on the front straightaway, running in the 2nd position, all by himself. Has about a 1.5 seconds advantage over Amato. There's the 44, the leader. And Trockey has a huge lead built up.
Yeah, just north of, I believe, probably be about 11 seconds now at the start-finish line.
Yeah, half a track.
Yeah, 10.5 seconds right now is Gould on the other straightaway when Trockey hits the start-finish line.
6 laps to go right now. Coming down on 5 to go. 5 to go as you see the 77, the early leader of the race, still out there running. Reynolds shown 8th in the rundown after being penalized a couple laps. And he was penalized for stopping on the front straightaway to bring out the yellow flag. Down to the final 5 laps. There's the 2nd place car, the 16 of David Gould.
It's going to be a nail-biter here to the finish. We'll see 4 laps to go for the 44 of Michael Trockey. As Trockey has run a solid race, honestly gifted the lead after Justin Reynolds had some misfortune when the 77 fell out of the race.
3 laps remaining as the 44 of Trockey leads the way. Trockey with the advantage. down to the final 2 laps. And for Trocky, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as Trocky's dad also competed for a number of years in race cars here at the facility. Coming down to the white flag, Michael Trocky leading the way with 1 to go.
I'm pretty sure he could shut it off and coast from here and know his family's going to be real proud of this victory, winning here at the World Series. He's got a younger sister as well. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Off turn 4 for the final time. The final checkered flag will fly here at the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. And it's Michael Trocky picking up the win.
Following across the line is David Gould. Mike Amato takes the 3rd spot. 4th spot, it was a tight battle the last lap or 2 as Klauser and Hendren went at it. Klauser actually takes 4th. Hendren takes 5th. Paul Kochi in the 6th spot. John Ripley taking 7th. Justin Reynolds in the 8th position. Just a bad break there as the car failed him mechanically early on, but they were able to repair it and get him out. But a 2-lap penalty cost him a chance to win. Bobby Hawley finishing in the 9th position. Travis Sukup taking the 10th spot. As Michael Trocky is in victory lane, our final winner of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing in 2019. And Jana's down there waiting on him to climb out. Jana?
Yeah, Michael Trocky just finishing taking off the helmet, ready to get out of this number 44 machine. A couple high fives from the crew members and a lot of smiles down here, guys. And here he comes, Michael Trocky, your winner. Big smiles down here in victory lane. Michael, how good does this feel?
Oh, it's awesome, man. Had a little struggles in practice and qualifying, but it's awesome to get the win here for 2 in a row.
You got that lead early, and then, I mean, you just drove away. You didn't even have to look in your mirror at all. What was this car like out there?
It was awesome. Jason Boyd set this thing up perfect. Can't thank everyone else for helping out on it.
Michael Trocky wins the final race of Speed Weeks, like you guys said.
Michael Trocky wins tonight the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, claims a dominant victory. Jana, good job down there tonight. It was nice of you to join us here on night number 9.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun. I was a fan for a couple days, and then I got to work with you guys, so it was all perfect.
Awesome. Now go back to your 16 inches of snow.
Oh my gosh, don't remind me. I had to go buy a shovel.
Yes. Couldn't buy one down here, of course, as they had some big-time snow up north where she comes from, and she got to come down and enjoy some warm weather here tonight. There's the rundown, the unofficial top 15. Trocky, followed by Gold, Amato, Klauser, and Hendren in the top 5.
Paul Cucci in 6th. 7th was John Ripley. 8th, Justin Reynolds. 9th, Bobby Holly. Rounding out your top 10 was Travis Sukup.
Don Duvall finishes in 11th. William Heinman takes the 12th spot. Jeff Colburn, Mike Dahm, and Shea Montgomery rounding out the top 15. Been a lot of fun this last week and a half. We got 7 out of the 9 nights in. A big thanks to the staff of New Smyrna Speedway, Fans Choice staff keeping us on the air, along with Casey LaJoy, Adam Mackey up here in the booth, and we've had a fun week.
We have. It's been a busy week, a lot of late nights, but very fun. Always look forward to coming to this event, and I know you do too. You treat this as a vacation.
It is a vacation, kind of a little work vacation. Get to come down and call the action and wouldn't miss it for anything. So on behalf of the whole staff of fanschoice.tv and everyone that's helped us keep this on the air for you race fans all around the world watching the World Series, I want to thank you for tuning in and saying so long from New Smyrna Speedway.
Yeah, like I said, if I didn't have that push for some reason.